2014 Kettleers baseball hits the air in 3,
2, 1.
Norwood, a shot to left. Warren goes back. It's out of here. He knew it from the crack of the bat. We're tied at 2. 0-1, a 2-2 tie. Wiseman's at third. 0-1 pitch. A long shot to right. It's way back. Get out of here. Home run. Brendan Hendricks, a 3-run bomb. Kettleers lead 5-2.
2014 Kettleers baseball lives here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with the Kettleers warm-up, here's Brendan Glasheen.
10 games remain in this regular season, and the Kettleers look to end on a high note and finish the season series 3-1 in favor of the Kettleers against the Chatham Anglers. Greg Moraz by my side. I'm Brendan Glasheen here at Lowell Park, bringing you Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. And Greg, yesterday, the Kettleers got their second shutout of the season yesterday, their first in 9 innings, a 3-0 win against the Brewster Whitecaps.
Well, I think the really important stat that you look at when you're talking about last night's ball game is one walk issued by Vince Fiore last night. Granted, Brewster only issued 2, but still, the first time in a very, very long time that the Kettleers have issued under 5 walks. And what was most important about last night, and you'll hear Brian Scott talk about it in the Scott Scoop featured on today's Roberts Report, that when Vince Fiore keeps the ball down, he's able to get ground balls. And when you're able to get ground balls, that is when you're giving your defense a chance to make plays. 2 inning-ending double plays yesterday, and Fiore got a great performance from himself in terms of his own defensive ability, but he got a lot of ground balls. Not a whole lot of balls were hit hard against him. When you put that combination with throwing strikes, now, Fiore, he had 4 3-ball counts in the first 2 innings. But after that, he was rock solid in terms of establishing first-pitch strikes.
Had a 20-pitch first inning. It looked like deja vu all over again, but Fiore had the longest outing from a Kettleers starting pitcher this season, went 7 innings, allowed 5 hits, no runs, walked 1, and struck out 4. Both of the strikeouts came in the first inning. He had a pair and then had 2 in the 6th inning. At that point, we thought his day was done, but ended the game retiring 11 of his last 12. So Fiore set the tone. Adam Witt closed the deal in the final 2 innings. The Kettleers pitchers got to hit today because the Cardinal rule is if the pitchers throw a shutout, they get to hit the following day during BP. So Trey Wingenter had some fun during BP this afternoon. Today's game between the Chatham Anglers and the Kettleers features a Chatham squad that is in the basement of the Eastern Division, a team that's in 4th right now, a lot different from last year for John Shifter's squad, Greg, a team that was the best team in the CCBL, the best in the Eastern Division, but this year has been a different story. They lost 3-0 last night against the Falmouth Commodores, and really the only thing going for this club is the hot bat of A.J. Murray.
Well, A.J. Murray, and you'll hear more about this in Broadcaster's Corner, he has cooled off a bit, but he leads Chatham in home runs with 5, RBIs with 26, and he also leads them with a .422 on-base percentage. But, Brendan, this is a team that's infield has been ravaged by injury. Blake Butera, who was hitting over .390 when he was still here, had to leave due to an injury. Garrett Hampson, who was going to be this team's starting shortstop and was one of the highest recruits out of high school going to Long Beach State, which is a notoriously good baseball school in a smaller conference, he had to go home due to an injury. Landon Lassiter, who has hit over .300 both years he's been at the University of North Carolina, he had to go home due to an injury. This is a team that has really just been ravaged by injury in terms of the infield, but they have a new guy in Justin Jones, a shortstop from UNLV, who was slated to come here originally, but he broke his wrist during the College World Series. Had to go home. Everything's been healed. He's back here. This is not nearly as talented of a Chatham team as last year's, but there's still belief amongst these guys that they are going to be able to come back and do something special now that they're granted. They're only 5 points ahead of Brewster for the 4th playoff spot in the East. But from what we've seen for the Brewster Whitecaps last night, I don't think they're going to be catching Chatham.
The Anglers are 14, 18, and 1, again, fourth best in the East. And they're going with Max Tishman on the mound today. The starter from Wake Forest is 2-2 on the season in 5 starts. He has an ERA of exactly 3 in 24 innings pitched. He struck out 15 and walked just 5. His last outing at Bourne on July 12th, he lost in just 3 innings of work, so he struggled in his last road start. He's at Lowell Park today, going up against Logan James.
Well, Max Tishman, it's weird. The Chatham Anglers have a 4.32 home ERA. On the flip side, they have a 3.52 road ERA. That holds true for most pitchers except Max Tishman. Tishman at home in 16 innings is 2-1 with a 1.69. On the road in 8 innings, he's 0-1 with a 5.63. Tishman's a guy, he's a 4-pitch guy. He's going to throw strikes, but he's also going to get hit a little bit. When you combine those extremes, it comes to a 2-2 record with a flat 3 ERA. Now on the other side, Logan James, like Vince Fiore, was skipped in his last start. For James, the key is this: get his changeup down. If he can keep his changeup in the zone, he'll be very effective. If he can't locate his changeup, then he's going to have to rely on his fastball, and that a lot of times can get hit pretty hard if he doesn't paint the corners with it.
To talk more about today's start for Logan James, as well as what the Kettleers need to do to get on a roll to end this season on a high note, Greg Moraz spoke with assistant coach Brian Scott on the Scott Scoop in today for the Roberts Report. It's time for the Roberts Report on the Kettleers warm-up. Standing by with Mike Roberts is Greg Moraz.
I'm joined once again on the Scott Scoop by assistant head coach Brian Scott, and coach Vince Fiore goes 7 shutout innings yesterday. The first time the Kettleers have had a starter go 7 innings since Evan Beal did it last season, coincidentally against the Brewster Whitecaps as well. What was the number one thing about what Fiore was doing that made him so effective?
I think he was changing speeds. He had a really good changeup and just understood how to pitch. Didn't try to blow the ball past guys. Just pitch the game instead of throwing it, and hopefully all the other pitchers were watching.
First shutout that you guys have had since you faced these Chatham Anglers at the beginning of the season. How big of a confidence boost is a shutout for a team?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, our offense, it's no surprise, has been doing fairly well, and just to see a 0 up there was just got to be huge for those guys.
Now, a lot of ground balls have been induced over the last couple of games. Do you think that it is essentially when you guys get ground balls is when your pitching staff does well, and when you're issuing walks and giving up fly balls, that's when you guys struggle?
Definitely. So far today it looks like balls will be carrying. Yesterday actually it wasn't carrying, but it didn't matter because we kept the ball on the ground. So I think what you said too, keeping the ball on the ground plus the few walks is definitely a recipe for success.
Now, Fiore had his last start skipped. Same thing with Logan James. James is back on the bump today. What do you think he has to do besides keeping his changeup low in the zone, because that's when he's most effective? What does he have to do to get through 5+?
Well, I think he's got to do what Vinny Fiore did and just change speeds. Like you said, keep it low, but be really efficient. Vinny threw a lot of pitches in the first inning, 20-some, but calmed down after that and used 60 for the next 6 innings. So I think hopefully he can start off better than Vinny did and give us 5 or 6 or 7 innings.
Now, you guys have been back and forth in terms of going from third. Fourth is not that far behind, but in the last stretch of the year, what do you think is the number one goal based on what you've sensed in the dugout from these guys?
Just do what we did last night. Be patient at the plate, aggressive in the zone, and pitch it well. I mean, we can't worry about what other teams are doing. Of course, you might look at the end of the day, but we just have to take care of our business first.
Well, Coach, thank you very much for joining me as always. Go out and get a W today.
Sounds great. Thanks, Greg.
That was assistant coach Brian Scott here on the Scott Scoop. We'll be back with more of the Kettleers warm-up right after this.
We always appreciate Brian Scott filling in for Mike Roberts on the Roberts Report. So Coach Scott clearly looking at the start today for Logan James, definitely needs to keep the ball down, but find the strike zone early in counts. We'll certainly look for that today. 10 minutes from first pitch here at Lowell Park. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen here with you on the Kettleers warm-up, brought to you by the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Up next now, Greg Moraz spoke with the broadcast team of the Chatham Anglers to get a sense of what this Anglers team is up to, and can this team make a run in these last 10 games into the postseason.
Welcome into Broadcaster's Corner, where we see what's going on with the opposing team from the guys who know them best. Standing by with the Chatham broadcast team, here's Greg Mraz.
My guest on Broadcaster's Corner is Dominic Catronio, play-by-play broadcaster for the Chatham Anglers. And Dom, Chatham has a 4.32 ERA at home. They have a 3.52 on the road. Chatham is pretty much better in every statistical category on the road than at Veterans Field. Any reason for that?
I think it's just pure coincidence. You know, sometimes baseball can have funny stats like that. As we know, it is a numbers game. I really do think it's pure coincidence with everything. And you look at the numbers do lie sometimes. And it's not that they're bad at home. It's just that there's a lot more runs scored at home. And it doesn't mean they're losing very many games by wide margins. It's just a little different. And I don't think that's really a huge difference with the Anglers playing on the road or at home. And they're in the middle of a stretch right now where they play 4 straight road games starting yesterday at Falmouth. So tonight here in Cotuit, then tomorrow they're out at YD. And then Thursday a makeup game against Hyannis, out in Hyannis as well. So home away from home has really been the school bus on the way here, and I think they've been handling it without a problem.
Tonight's starter, Max Tishman from Wake Forest. He's faced the Kettleers once this year. He went 4 2/3 innings pitched, gave up 2 earned runs in the back end of the double dip at the beginning of the season, a game in which the Kettleers won 3-0. Tishman is essentially this team's number 2 guy behind Jordan Hillier. What are we going to expect from him tonight?
Expect a lot of strikes. He's definitely a pitch-to-contact guy, and he puts a lot of balls on the ground. Some of them will be hard hit, but that's where he has to trust his defense, and that's really been what's plaguing the Anglers lately is the trust in the defense for pitchers. I mean, yesterday you look at the box score, a 3-0 game. Really, all those runs were attributed to one error, even though they're all earned runs, and that was an error by our new shortstop, Justin Jones. But you look at Tishman, and he's not a guy that's going to overpower you, but his stuff from the left side always moves, even his fastball. He grips it with a 2-seam, has a little cut to it as well. He really can throw strikes, and he's a fiery guy on the mound, too. You love seeing that in a team that's really struggling to find itself. You love seeing a guy get pumped up, some fist pumps, not afraid to show his emotion, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch tonight.
Andrew Chin went off and signed with the New York Yankees. When we had talked before, there was this uncertainty as to what Chin was going to do. Was that a surprising move? And now, what does John Schiffner do with the pitching staff?
Oh, not a surprise at all. In fact, he signed a new left-hander, tall lefty from Cal State Northridge, who might make an appearance tonight. We're not sure yet. Jerry Keel from Cal State Northridge. Funny thing about him, he was 0-11 up in Northern California, yet had a 3.6 somewhere around in that neighborhood ERA. Just didn't get any run support from his team. He's already made one appearance this season a couple of nights ago, but that was back at home at Veterans Field in a loss. But a big, tall lefty, and Schiffner has no problems. That was expected for Chin to leave, and we wish him all the best. And he said so long to the guys at Fenway, and it was actually announced the next night when he got signed during the game, so he got a warm round of applause from the Veterans Field faithful, and it was a lot of fun to see him, and we wish him the best of luck with the Yankees.
A.J. Murray has been this team's best hitter all season long. He leads the team in home runs, RBIs, and on-base percentage. What stands out to you about him?
He just has a simple approach. He doesn't try to do too much. And when you look at him in the box, he can fall behind 0-2, but he doesn't. It's not like his back is against the wall. He's up there thinking like it's 0-0, and he's not afraid to really put bat on ball. He will chase a few pitches every now and then, but he has really matured in the box, as well as Chris Shaw, another guy who started off early on the season a little slow, but he's ripping the cover off the ball, even though the batting average doesn't show that. He's one of the best pure hitters in the Cape League, and he will get to see that in the Home Run Derby on Sunday.
Final question for you, Dominic. Chatham is 2-8 over their last 10 ball games. They're only 5 points ahead of the Brewster Whitecaps for the 4th and final playoff spot in the Eastern Division. If Chatham is going to finish the season on a high note, what is the number one thing that has to have happen?
It has to be defense, plain and simple. John Schiffner's clubs always preach defense, and there's been a bit of a carousel in the infield lately with a few injuries. Garrett Hampson was the middle infielder. He went down. Blake Butera also went down with injuries. They are back home right now watching the Anglers from home, but we've had a bit of a carousel. We've got Justin Jones from UNLV, who was originally slated to join the Anglers at the start of the year, but broke his wrist in the first round of the NCAAs. But he is back here now, and he will be in the lineup tonight as well. And then we've also got Kevin Fagan back in the lineup tonight. Bryant Burleson, another late addition from Texas Tech. It's been, a bit of shuffle, a little bit of merry-go-round, if you will, inside the infield, but it's got to be the defense and getting used to, got to turn those double plays again. It's been a while since we've seen those from the Anglers, and you take those ground balls, you take these ones key in batting practice, it's all got to translate into the game.
Kettleers and Anglers, my thanks to Dominic Catronio for joining me here on Broadcaster's Corner. Logan James versus Max Tishman. Lineups and first pitch coming up next here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary.
a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Kentuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Kentuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Kentuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Kentuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Kentuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
It's time for Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now, with lineups and first pitch, here's Brendan Glasheen.
As we said at the top of the broadcast, 10 games left in this regular season. The Kettleers and Anglers square off for the final time this regular season. Greg Mraz and Brendan Glasheen here at Lowell Park. One of 5 games remaining at one of the Cape League's finest ballparks. And today for the Kettleers, the starting 9, presented by Chatham Bars Inn. Leading off for the Chatham Anglers in center field, Landon Cray. Mitch Gonzalez, the shortstop, bats second. A.J. Murray, the hot-hitting A.J. Murray, an all-star this season for the Chatham A's, batting 30s over at first base. Chris Shaw, the DH from BC, batting cleanup. Jake Fraley, the right fielder, bats 5th. Robert Baldwin, the catcher, bats 6th. Batting in the 7-hole, Justin Jones, playing second base today. Bryant Burleson, the third baseman, bats 8th. And batting 9th, Kevin Fagan, the left fielder.
From left to right in the outfield, Jackson Glines, Jake Fincher, and Rhett Wiseman around the horn. From third to first, Drew Jackson, Logan Taylor, Jordan Ebert, and Jameson Fisher. Trace Barrera catching pitches today from the left-hander from Stanford, number 38, Logan James.
The left-hander from Stanford has lost his last 3 decisions dating back to July 5th at Wareham. Has not pitched at Lowell Park since June 28th in the game in which he threw his longest of the year. A Kettleers stat that we've only seen 5 times. A 5-inning outing in which he allowed 3 hits, just 1 run, walked 2 and struck out 6 against the Harwich Mariners. So Logan James certainly happy to be back at Lowell Park. His last 3 appearances were at Wareham, at Falmouth, and at YD. The YD appearance on July 18th went just an inning, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, walked 1, and struck out 2. Overall in the season, Greg, an ERA over 8. Certainly something we hope to see get lowered, especially since he's starting back at home.
Well, the thing about Logan James is that it all depends on how he locates his breaking stuff. And I talked with Mike Roberts about this. He said when Logan James has his changeup and his curveball working, then he's one of the best pitchers that we have. But the problem is if he can't locate those pitches, he can't throw them. And that makes the fastball even more predictable for hitters to be able to hit.
Landon Cray digs in the back foot into the left-handed batting box. Left-handed hitter from Seattle. Steps out of the box now, chatting with Trace Barrera, the catcher for the Kettleers. Let's give it the officiating crew tonight. Home plate umpire Tim Carey, Steve Kineski, the first base umpire, and Rick Emerson's over at third. Logan James sets by the letters. He's into the windup. First pitch is low inside. Breaking ball at 88 from James. Left-hander from Stanford. Teammates with the guy over on the corner at third base, Drew Jackson. He's notably in on the grass. Logan, the left-handed pitcher, into the windup. Fastball clocks at 90 on the inside corner, 1-1. On the season this year for Landon Cray, batting .253, 21 of 83 on the season. A lefty-lefty matchup. Barrera sets up outside, the 1-1. Breaking ball drops in for a strike on the outside corner, knee high. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I was talking with Johnny Wincott and Dominic Catronio, and they said that this is probably one of the strangest lineups that they've seen all year, and not a starting outfield that we've seen at all.
The 1-2, Cray swings through it, a breaking ball outside. Barrera applies the tag on the back for the first out of today's game. Good start for Logan James. Mitch Gonzalez, the shortstop, also batting from the left side of Gonzaga. Gonzalez on the year hitting .273, 12 of 44, a home run and 5 RBIs. First pitch looper misses upstairs and away. 1 ball, no strikes on the shortstop from Gonzaga. Another lefty-lefty matchup. John Schiffner going with a lefty-heavy starting lineup against James, the 1-0. Fastball away, hits the corner. Tim Carey points strike towards the Chatham dugout, 1-1. Infield straight away, except Jackson remains in on the grass. Jackson glides notably towards the left field line. Jake Fincher a bit towards the left, in left center. Pitch struck to the left side, out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes, James ahead in the count.
I think the thing with this Chatham team is they had a tendency to hold on to a lot of guys from last year. Gonzalez was a guy that was a contract guy last year, a temp this year.
1-2 as James works quickly. Curveball dips too low and in. 2-2.
But he got cut, went home, but with the injury to Garrett Hampson, Gonzalez comes back.
James likes to hold the glove just by his belt, waves off a couple of signs from Barrera, and now home plate umpire Tim Carey awards Gonzalez time. Barrera hides the sign with his left-handed catcher's mitt. James into the windup, 2-2. In the dirt, bounces out in front of home plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The Anglers sporting their cerulean blue uniforms with the white lettering, red numbering on the front of the jersey, the white numbering on the back of the jersey. Gonzalez holds the hands just by his back left shoulder. 3-2 pitch on the way from James. Fastball high, ball 4. Carey doesn't give him the belt high strike. A lot different than yesterday's umpire, Joe Cruz. So Gonzalez saw him with a leadoff walk, rather a 1-out walk. And here's arguably the Cape Cod Baseball League's hottest hitter, A.J. Murray, the home run and RBI leader in the CCBL. Steps in from the right side. First pitch, change up low and in at 87. 1 ball, no strikes. Murray with 5 home runs, which is tied for first in the Cape League. And the 26 RBIs, also the best in the business. James to the set, right foot in front of the left, the 1-0. Murray looks at a fastball upstairs and away. 2 balls, no strikes.
Murray is hitting .238 over his last 10 games, so he's cooled off. But, I mean, you look at the numbers, 5 home runs and 26 RBIs. That basically is the best in the East. Nobody's better than that.
Slight open stance. The 2-0 to the All-Star from the Anglers. Misses low and in. 3 balls, no strikes. Murray's a ACC first baseman. Many ACC players on this roster for Chatham. Many BC players. 3-0. Fastball catches the outside corner. 3-1. A Boston College player, Chris Shaw, is on deck.
The only BC player left. Andrew Chin signed with the Yankees. Blake Butera had to go home with an injury.
3-1 comes from James. Here it is. Slice to the right side. On the run in right field goes Wiseman. He makes the catch over his head. Blocks the sun with his sunglasses and makes a nice catch. Heaves it back in to the first baseman Fisher as Gonzalez remains at first. 2 down for Shaw.
Murray is going to hit everything pretty hard. He's been that good this year where anything on the outer half of the plate, anything on the inner half of the plate, any fastball that he times right, he's going to be able to hit fairly hard. Here's a guy, though, in Chris Shaw, that for a fairly mediocre baseball program in Boston College, he hits everything hard as well.
A .262 clip, has 10 extra base hits, which leads the Cape Cod League. A fastball upstairs and in overpowers him. He swings through it. No balls, 1 strike. On the season total for Shaw, hitting .262, 4 homers, 19 runs batted in. 4 other players in the Cape League with 4 home runs, 2 Kettleers, 1 a former Kettle, and another a current Kettle. One of them's sitting right behind home plate in the crouch in Trace Pereira, the other Austin Byler. Shaw lets the bat point out as James comes set, now throws over to first base to check in with Mitch Gonzalez. Gonzalez has 2 stolen bases. He's yet to be caught this year. Infield and double play depth. Jackson's backed up a little beyond the third base bag to the left side. The 0-1 to Shaw. Hammered to right center field. Back goes Wiseman. Deep, and Fincher goes as well. It's into the trees. Home run. 5th home run of the season for Chris Shaw. The Anglers take the lead early on. It's 2-0 Chatham.
What Chatham has that now nobody else has is 2 guys with 5 home runs apiece and 2 guys who are able to launch anything that is in their wheelhouse. And Chris Shaw, that was a home run that he got under, but he still had so much power that he was able to get it up and out.
Fincher and Wiseman in center field and right field respectively, a long Trouts towards the right field gap. First pitch fastball up and in to Jake Fraley, another left-handed hitter for John Shifter. The first 4 of 5 batters are batting from the left side against the left-hander James. The 1-0 pitch. Change up, dips away, just to the left of home plate. Barrera has to retrieve it out of his crouch, 2-0. That's something you'd think would be a disadvantage heading into the ball game, to have 4 left-handed hitters in your top 5 against a left-handed starter. 2-0 on the way. Fastball up and in. 3 balls, no strikes. Second 3-0 count we've seen from James today. You know, Greg, you look at Chatham hitting .257 against left-handed pitching. That's less than what they would hit against right-handed pitching. James delivers the 3-0, a big open stance from Fraley. Fastball inside, ball 4. Second walk of the half inning for Logan James. He's off to a rough start.
Walks put guys on base, and when guys are on base, you have a chance to be able to drive them in. And you look at the home run by Chris Shaw, a 2-out RBI. That never happens unless you walk Mitch Gonzalez.
James already at 21 pitches, 9 strikes, 12 balls. Comes to the set with Fraley at first. First pitch fastball on the outside corner to Robert Baldwin, the catcher from Yale. Baldwin hits .302 on the year. No homers, 4 RBIs in 15 games played under John Schiffner. The 0-1, he's way out in front of a breaking ball, swing and a miss. James ahead 0-2.
Chatham has 3 guys, Baldwin, Nick Collins, and Patrick Mazika. Any one of them somewhat interchangeable behind the plate.
0-2 pitch as the runner's off. Barrera's throw down to second base. Ebert covers. The tag not in time, says third base umpire Rick Emerson. So Fraley's into second with a stolen base. That's stolen bag number 8 on the season for the right fielder from LSU. A runner in scoring position for Chatham as they look for more damage. Here in the top of the first, already a 2-0 lead. They count 1 ball, 2 strikes on Robert Baldwin. Logan James comes set. Barrera sets up outside. The 1-2 slice foul. Fraley was off towards third on the pitch. He'll have to retrieve back to second base. Still 1-2.
Good idea on a hit and run there to get the runner started with a guy Fraley who has decent speed, but Baldwin not a guy who's got great speed coming out of the box, so possibly a chance to beat one out had he put it in play.
Baldwin has struck out 15 times in 15 games, so a tough guy to get that as he grounds it over towards short. Taylor's on the run, throw to first on the sidearm. He gets it over in time to Jamison Fisher to retire the side. The Anglers get 2 on a 2-run blast to right center field by Chris Shaw. We'll go to the home half of the first at Lowell Park. 2-0 Anglers on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Chatham leads Cotuit 2-0 early on as we head to the home half of the first inning at Lowell Park. Greg Moraz and Brendan Glasheen on hand for Kettleers Baseball right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. And now it's time to present you the Cotuit starting 9, which is brought to you by the Chatham Bars Inn. Rhett Wiseman, the leadoff man. He's in right field. John Norwood bats second. He's the DH. Logan Taylor, the shortstop, bats third. Trace Barrera, the cleanup man, at catcher. Jordan Ebert hits fifth. He's over at second base. Jackson Glines bats sixth. He's out in left. Jake Fincher, the center fielder, bats seventh. Jamison Fisher over at first base today. He's hitting eighth. And Drew Jackson rounds out the order. He's at third.
Kevin Fagan, Landon Crane, Jake Fraley from left to right in the outfield. Bryant Burleson, Mitch Gonsolus, Justin Jones, and A.J. Murray around the horn from third to first. Robert Baldwin, the catcher from Yale, catching pitches from the lefty. Second time the Kettleers have faced him this year. From Wake Forest, number 34, Max Tishman.
Tall lefty from Wake Forest, as Greg just noted. Holds the glove just above the lettering of Chatham. First pitch to Wiseman. Shot to right field, right at the right fielder. Fraley, he barely moves and makes the catch on the line. Wiseman has been recorded many times on line drives, but has really seen the ball well the last 2 games.
I think for him, it's more of they're going to fall. That's the mentality you have to take, is that they're just going to fall, because Wiseman hit 2 balls in Brewster last night that, had the wind been blowing out, more than likely Rhett Wiseman comes into today's game with 2 home runs.
John Norwood takes a fastball in the outside corner from Tishman for a strike. No balls, 1 strike. You mentioned Wiseman's day yesterday. He flew out 3 times and lined out to the shortstop Mikey White. The fly out back in the third to left field was a sacrifice fly, 0-1. Norwood takes a changeup low and in. 2-0 Kettleers, rather 2-0 Anglers here in the bottom of the first. The Kettleers getting their first shot against Tishman at Lowell Park. Tishman's first start of the year came at Veterans Field against the Kettleers. The 1-1 is shot down the left field line on the ground foul. In the start, he went 4 2/3, allowed 2 runs, both of them earned. He allowed 4 hits, struck out 3. No walks in the outing for Tishman. On the year, a 2-2 clip in 5 starts with an ERA of 3. Facing John Norwood, who is a participant in this year's Home Run Derby for the Eastern Division. Change up low and in to the big right-handed hitter from Vanderbilt. Norwood, .327 start with the Kettleers, with 2 home runs and 10 RBIs in just 13 games played. Tishman, the lefty, into the windup, heaves the 2-2. Norwood's out in front, swing and a miss. Change-up got him bending at the knees out in front. Second out recorded in a row by Tishman. 2 down for Logan Taylor.
One of the things that John Norwood does very well is he takes inside pitches, especially fastballs, and he's able to hit them hard. What John Norwood does not do well is hit low and away breaking balls, and that's the second time in as many games that we've seen Norwood not even close to a low and away changeup on a third strike.
The right-handed hitter from Texas A&M, Logan Taylor, grounds it out in front down the third base line. It stays fair as the runner is safe at first. Burleson thought the ball was going to roll foul, opted to let it roll. It doesn't go his way, and now Taylor's safe at first base.
I don't think that's the case necessarily, and you hear John Schiffner arguing from the dugout with home plate umpire Tim Carey. I think what happened is he thought it was a foul ball because, at least from what we could hear and what we could see, that ball looked like it hit off of home plate.
The hit streak extends to 11 for Logan Taylor. He's now hit safely in 17 of the last 19 games for the Kettleers. Logan's also starting his 35th game, the most in the Cape Cod League. Has played in every game this year for Mike Roberts as the right-handed hitter Trace Barrera steps in. A throw over from Tishman to check in on Logan. Taylor on the year on the base paths. 5 stolen bases. He's been caught 5 times. Trace Barrera hit a 2-run shot yesterday at Brewster in the 6th inning. Lets the bat lean just in front of his waist. He awaits the first pitch of this at-bat. Tishman fires. Shot on the ground, foul down the left field line by Trace Barrera. Second in the CCBL with home runs with 4, as we mentioned in the top of the first, tied with former Kettleer Austin Byler. But you look at this Chatham team now, you mentioned it, Greg. Chris Shaw and A.J. Murray both with 5, the only team in the Cape League to have 2 5-home run guys. Tishman set just by his left shoulder. Throws over towards first to check in with Taylor.
The Kettleers, though, have 2 4-home run guys, one of them at the plate, one of them standing at first, 3 if you count Austin Byler, who's no longer with the team.
Kettleers also just in front of Orleans now for the most home runs in the Cape League with 21. 0-1 pitch. Change up low and in. Taylor's off. He steals his 6th bag of the year with no throw down by Robert Baldwin. Taylor's up to scoring position. A 1-1 count on Barrera. 2-0 Chatham early on here in the first.
That a situation where Baldwin couldn't get the ball from his glove into his hand. He was trying to whip the ball out of his glove, and he dropped it.
Tishman stares in for his sign from Baldwin as Barrera lets the bat hang behind his helmet. The pitch. 1-1 sliced on the ground towards short. Murray goes to the slide. Throw across to first in time to retire the side. So Taylor's left at second base, and the Kettleers can't dig into the early deficit. We'll go to the second inning at Lowell Park. 2-0 Chatham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. And Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, Channel 13 Sandwich.
The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
7, 8, and 9 for the Chatham Anglers step in to face the Kettleers. Logan James back on the hill for the start of the second inning. A 2-0 lead for Chatham. Justin Jones, the second baseman from UNLV. Lefty-lefty matchup once again as he squares around, lays a bunt down, but it pops forward, then goes back to the backstop foul. Count, no balls, 1 strike. Justin Jones this season for the Chatham Anglers hitting zeros. Second game played this year. In 3 at-bats, he has no hits, has walked twice, takes a strike over the heart of the plate from James. No, 0-2. So a late addition, probably because Blake Butera, as Greg noted earlier on in the broadcast, of Boston College went home due to injury. 0-2 from James. Fastball, strike 3 called, no doubt about it. Carey rings up Justin Jones, the new man for Chatham. 1 down for James. Second straight inning is which he started the leadoff man with a strikeout.
And that's what James needs to be able to do, is change pitches, change speeds, because his changeup and curve are good, but they're only good when he can locate the fastball.
Bryant Burleson, the second right-handed hitter we've seen today, batting 8th as he steps in on the right side. Takes a fastball in the outside corner. 0-1, a slight open stance for Burleson. From Texas Tech, hitting 133. 4 hits and 30 at-bats, just 8 games played. The 0-1 slice foul off of the tip of home plate. Barrera gets a new baseball from Tim Carey, the home plate umpire. James ahead in the count, 0-2. 2-0 Chatham early on. The Kettleers look to take the season series 3-1. Chatham tries to steal their second game here at Lowell Park. 0-2 pitch from James. Fastball, a waste pitch outside at 91. Chatham won at Lowell Park back on July 2nd, a 7-2 final. The Kettleers, though, first doubleheader of the season back on June 15th at Veterans Field, won both games. 1-2 pitch from James. Curveball, dices inside, just behind the tip of home plate once again. It's 2-2. The Kettleers are the only team that went 4-0 and swept their doubleheaders this season. James holds below the waist. Infield and outfield straight away for Cotuit defensively. 2-2 on the way. Change up, misses low and outside. 3-2.
You talk about right-handed hitters. Well, there are 3 of them in the lineup, but there are only 4 of them on the roster. That's the thing. Chatham just doesn't have a whole lot of right-handed hitters.
James into the windup, fires the payoff. Swing and a miss, got him on a changeup inside. James strikes out back-to-back Chatham Anglers to start the second inning smoothly.
That one on a changeup, a very good changeup. One coming right after a fastball.
He has 3 strikeouts today, and the third strike has been 3 different pitches. Strikeout to lead off the first was on a curveball. First pitch on the way to Fagan, swing and a miss. Fastball away, he goes right through it. Fagan, the left fielder from Stetson College, takes a practice swing outside of the left-handed batting box. Another lefty. As Greg just noted, just 4 right-handed hitters on the roster. 3 in the lineup today for John Schiffner. James into the windup, the 0-1. Fastball upstairs above the waist. 1 ball, 1 strike on the Stetson left fielder. You look at Fagan hitting 191. 9 of 47. Curveball inside corner, 1-2. But what I was mentioning about Logan James, all 3 of his put-out pitches, a curveball back in the first, a fastball to get Jones, and a change to get Burleson. 2 down, second inning. Chatham on the road against Cotuit for the final time. 1-2, change up outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2s across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. We're in the second inning, and it's 2-0 Chatham. So many 2s.
Deuce is wild.
As Trace puts down the sign for Logan James. 2-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 cold. A long stare by Carey. He makes the call to give James his 3rd strikeout of the inning. Logan James strikes out the side. It sends the Kettleers back to the dugout to bat in the home half of the second. We're through 1 1/2 at Lowell Park. 2-0 Anglers on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich. Stick with us.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly
Max Tishman, starting pitcher for the Chatham Anglers, back on the hill for the bottom of the second inning. Cotuit Kettleers also return to the lineup for their second time. Ebert, Glines, and Fincher, 5, 6, 7, respectively, due to bat for Cotuit. A 2-0 lead for Chatham. Tishman, the lefty, into the windup to face the right-hander. Ebert takes a fastball high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Jordan Ebert playing in his 8th game with Cotuit, 8 for his first 28. Second baseman from Auburn. 1-0 pitch. Sliced on the ground. Nice pickup by Jackson Glines in the on-deck circle. Jordan Ebert led the SEC in hitting, teammates with Kettleer pitcher Trey Wingenter, who had a lot of fun today. The pitchers got to hit in batting practice since they threw a shutout last night. A 3-0 final against the Brewster Whitecaps at Stony Brook Field. The 1-1 to Ebert. Fastball chopped on the ground right in front of Tishman. Spins, now throws to first in time on the outside of the first base bag to retire Ebert for the first out of the home half of the second.
One thing Tishman is doing very, very well is he's locating his changeup. That we said is the key for Logan James. But right now, the last 2 pitches that have been hit in play, 2 ground balls, 2 changeups low in the zone.
So Ebert retired on 1-3. Jackson Glines, the left-handed hitter from Michigan, steps in. Big left-hander returned to Stony Brook Field, where he played for just 7 games under John Altobelli. Takes a first pitch fastball at 84, just a changeup. I read 94. Better get my eyesight fixed with, what's that Cape League sponsor?
iHealth Services.
iHealth Services. We are here for you. Well, hopefully they're here for Brendan. 0-1 pitch to Glines. Fastball hammered down the right field line. It goes foul. Just to the left of Brian Bamanek, the first base coach. I don't think Brian Bamanek has enough stern looks on his face to be a umpire.
I could just imagine him, though, as an umpire. It'd actually be kind of funny. Just knowing him and his soft-going ways. That was a fair ball, but I'll have it go foul just for your sake.
Tishman's 0-2 to Glines. A change-up low and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I could see that, too, but Bamanek's a great guy. They call him Hooper. Give him a follow on Twitter at Brian_Bamanek. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Glines. A 2-0 lead for Chatham as Max Tishman looks to get his second start in line against Cotuit. 1-2. Glines sends a shot to right. In comes the right fielder Fraley on the run. Dives and makes the catch. No! Steve Kineski, the first base umpire, says he dropped it. It caught in the webbing of the glove, and here comes John Schiffner jolting down the dugout line, up the steps, and he's out to argue with Kineski. I don't know. It looked to me that Fraley made the catch.
Hard to really tell, but when it's snow cones that soft, you can't really make a clear determination because when the glove traps the ball, there's no vision of it from any umpire. The only person that can really tell what actually happened is the outfielder. So that could have been a trap. There's really no way of knowing.
Center fielder from NC State, Jake Fincher, steps in. The right-handed hitter with a slight open stance. Tishman, the lefty, comes to the set by the chest as Glines lead from first. First pitch fastball high and inside to Fincher. 1 ball, no strikes. Jake Fincher of Charlotte, North Carolina, hitting .319. The average has dipped way down since being the Cape League batting average leader a few weeks ago. Throw over from first base. Fincher with no homers, 10 RBIs. Lets the bat wave out in front as it crosses home plate. Now he puts it back behind his helmet. The catcher Baldwin sets up outside. Tishman throws across to first once again. And you mentioned a few weeks ago that Jake Fincher was joking around with you saying, hey, Greg, how do you like that 2 from my last 15? So he was giving you a hard time. He's certainly aware of the slump. The 1-1. Fincher slices it the opposite way. Out in front comes Fraley. He makes the catch, trying to double off Glines to throw to first offline. So Glines remains at first base. Fincher flies out to the right fielder, Fraley.
It's not like Fincher isn't hitting the ball hard. It's just not falling in the right spots. But Jackson Glines, you got to watch out because that ball was hit so hard. He's doubled off if Jake Fraley makes any semblance of a decent throw. That throw from right field, though, was so bad that A.J. Murray had to come at least 2 yards to his left to be able to field that ball.
Fincher now 2 for his last 32. That's an average below .060. Fisher sends a base hit to left field. It falls in front of Kevin Fagan. Glines up to second. Fisher is on. He had a great day yesterday.
Why is he batting 8th? That's what I want to know.
A 3-for-4 effort against the Brewster Whitecaps. Doubled and scored in the 3rd inning yesterday. Followed that up with 2 singles in the 5th and 9th innings, respectively. 2-0 Chatham. The Kettleers, though, have first and second with Drew Jackson the batter. Jackson's hit safely in 3 straight games. A slight open stance as he bats from the right side. Lets the bat wave just below his belt. Now he cocks it behind his right shoulder. Tishman to the set. First pitch to Jackson. Change up low and inside. And now catcher Robert Baldwin asks for time from Tim Carey. He's awarded it out to talk with Tishman.
The Kettleers have 3 hits, but the funny thing about it is the hit by Jamison Fisher is really the only hit that should have been called a hit. Because if Fraley catches that ball, which he probably did, and then Taylor's single, which hit off of home plate, that was probably a foul ball.
Drew Jackson is hitting .300 in his last 5 games. 1-0 pitch, fastball upstairs and in by the batting gloves. It waves Jackson off the plate a bit. He's ahead in the count, 2-0. Glines at second base, Fisher at first. 2 singles for the Kettles this half inning. They still trail the Anglers 2-0. 10 games left in the Cape Cod Baseball League season. These 2 teams making playoff pushes. Jackson grounds it over towards third. Burleson goes the easy way and tags the third base bag to retire the side. 2 innings in the books at Lowell Park, and Chatham is out to a fast start. They lead 2-0 on the Kettleers, right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Barnstable Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's
1-0 Chatham on a 2-run home run in the top of the first inning by Chris Shaw. As we head to the top of the third inning, Landon Cray, Mitch Gonsolas, and A.J. Murray to lead it off against Logan James. Lefty-lefty matchup. Cray, the center fielder from Seattle University, home of the Red Hawks. Drew Jackson on the grass at third. James Wines kicks, the left-hander delivers. First pitch swinging. Cray hits it on the ground to second. Ebert gobbles it up. Flips to first. One pitch, one out. Cray is 0 for 2. Brings up Mitch Gonsolas.
And that's 5 straight retired by Logan James, able to strike out the side last inning for Cotuit. And again, he's used multitude of pitches to get those strikeouts. He's used the changeup, the curveball, and the fastball. We've always mentioned it. If he can keep that changeup low but also start it as a strike, he's going to be golden.
Jackson on the grass at third. Lefty-lefty matchup as Gonsolas comes to the plate. Gonsolas shows bunt. First pitch curveball from James hits the inner corner for a strike 0-1. Gonsolas walked in the first and scored on Chris Shaw's home run. James shoulders 45 degrees to the plate. Wines kicks the left-hander, delivers to the plate. Curveball, swing and a miss. Gonsolas swings right over it. It dips to the outside. Down in the count, 0-2. Gonsolas from Gonzaga, member of the West Coast Conference. Other West Coast Conference players involved with these two teams, Brendan Hendricks from the University of San Francisco. 0-2 delivery. Curveball misses low, goes through the 5-hole of Trace Pereira. Count to 1-2. A good waste pitch from Logan James. 2 straight curveballs to Gonsolas, a member of the 2013 Chatham Anglers. James stares in, sets the glove at the letters. Wines delivers. On the way, fastball, ring him up, strike 3 call. 4th strikeout in 5 hitters for Logan James in his 5th strikeout of the ball game. 2 gone for A.J. Murray.
Logan James had a strikeout high of 6 in his last start here at Lowell Park against Harwich. That was in 5 innings. We haven't even finished the third, and he's got 5. He's done a nice job of locating those off-speed pitches as well as the fastball.
Righty-lefty matchup. Murray stands in, right-handed hitter. First pitch on the way from James. A fastball that tails to the low outside corner for a strike 0-1. Murray flew out to right back in the first. Infield back at all spots. Jordan Ebert on the outfield grass, shifted towards the second base bag. 0-1, change up in the dirt. Count even up at 1. The Chatham team has 5 All-Stars. A.J. Murray and Jordan Hillier will start. Hillier, the left-handed ace for the Anglers. And then Ty Moore, Kyle Davis, and Nick Collins, all reserves for John Schiffner's squad. 1-1 curveball hits A.J. Murray in the left foot. It ricochets towards the Chatham dugout. Murray draws a 2-out hit by pitch. And it brings up Chris Shaw, who went yard out to right center field in his last at-bat. Anglers lead 2-0 here in the top of the third alongside Brendan Glasheen. I'm Greg Mraz. Shaw's home run, the only hit for Chatham. Kettleers have 3 hits but no runs.
A.J. Murray was hit for the 4th time this year against Cotuit Kettleers.
Logan James, right foot on the third base side of the rubber. First pitch fastball, misses high and away. 1-0 the count to Shaw. The right, or I should say the designated hitter, played right field the last time these two teams played, from Boston College in Chestnut Hill, suburb of Boston. James, soft toss to first. Back safely, A.J. Murray. Jamison Fisher holding him on, but his foot about 2 feet in front of the first base bag, so Fisher will try swipe tags. 0-1, stretch delivery, curveball, pulled the string on him. Right down the heart of the plate, count even at 1-1. A looping curve at 72 miles per hour. James sets, Looks over to first. Gets the sign, delivers the 1-1. Curveball in the dirt. Barrera blocks. He can't find it. It's right in front of him. And Murray goes to second on what would be credited as a passed ball. 2-1 on Chris Shaw.
You can understand that Logan James is being very selective against a guy with 5 homers this year. You mentioned the All-Stars. Shaw will be in the Home Run Derby representing the Eastern Division, and now it looks like they're going to put him on.
Shaw is going to draw an intentional walk. Don't want to mess with him with Jake Fraley standing on deck. 3-1 the count. Barrera holds out the glove to the left. Ball delivered. Shaw will toss the bat towards the dugout on the first base side. An intentional walk. Third walk issued by Logan James. Fourth walk, or I should say fourth batter to reach base on a ball not put in play. Only one ball has been put in play. That was Shaw's home run that has fallen for a hit. So 5 base runners for Chatham. Pitch on the way to the left-handed hitting Fraley. Misses high and away for ball 1. Fraley, the right fielder, walked and stole second back in the first. From Louisiana State, really open stance, lefty-lefty, blooped to shallow left. Logan Taylor settles on the outfield grass, edge of the grass, makes the catch for the third out of the inning. 2 2-out base runners, but James works out of it. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Anglers lead this one 2-0. You're locked into Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and Comcast Channel 99 from Mashpee all the way to Chatham and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
2-0 Chatham as we head to the top of the fourth inning. Top of the order due up for the Kettleers. Rhett Wiseman steps in against the left-handed tossing Max Tishman. Wiseman flew out hard to right field back in the first. The left-handed hitting right fielder from Vanderbilt, Tishman winds, kicks, delivers the first pitch on the way. It grazes Wiseman's right shoulder. A leadoff hit by pitch. Wiseman trots down to first. Leadoff man aboard for the first time today for Cotuit. Brings up John Dice Norwood. Norwood struck out swinging on a low and away changeup back in the first. Righty-lefty matchup. Burleson, even with the bag at third. A.J. Murray holds on Rhett Wiseman at first. Wiseman, a 3-step lead. Tishman will toss over. Wiseman back in safely. Norwood will be participating in the home run hitting contest on Sunday at Doran Park, along with Kettleer teammate Trace Barrera, who's in the hole. Norwood waggles the bat, slightly open stance. Tishman in the stretch delivers. Norwood pokes it out into right center field. On his horse landing, Cray's not going to get it. It runs up against the wall. Fraley picks it up, cutting it off. Norwood into second with a stand-up double.
You know,
what looked like a looper ends up carrying much further. Runners at second and third. with nobody out.
That's exactly what I was thinking there. I mean, it looked like and sounded like a looper off the end of the bat from Norwood, but the wind carrying to right center gives Norwood a double. Wiseman all the way to third, a golden opportunity for one of the hottest Kettleer hitters.
Logan Taylor is 1 for 1, reached on an infield single on a ball that looked like it went off of the home plate, the actual plate, but it kept going down the third base side. Taylor was safe at first, but the Kettleers did nothing with it. Anglers bring Burleson in at third. Rest of the infield is back. They'll sacrifice and out for a run. First pitch fastball, tails high and away to Logan Taylor, the shortstop from Texas A&M. Count to 1-0. Taylor, we saw over behind the third base dugout, was hugging somebody before the game. Looked like somebody he hadn't seen in a long time. Tishman sets, delivers. Taylor hits it on the ground under the glove of Burleson, a base hit. Wiseman scores. Norwood held up at third, fielded quickly by the left fielder Kevin Fagan. An RBI single by Logan Taylor. He's 2 for 2. Kettleers cut the deficit in half. It's now 2-1 Chatham.
Logan Taylor continues his heavy hitting, 2 for 2 with the pair of singles. Plates Rhett Wiseman. This was a tough play for Burleson over at third. Give him credit for diving in, but oftentimes when a fielder dives over a baseball, it slows it down as it rolls in. Norwood held up, a smart move by Roberts with first and third and nobody out.
Brings up Trace Barrera. Grounded out to short, his first time up. Murray holds on Taylor at first. Norwood a slight lead from third. Burleson even with the bag. First pitch, swing and a miss. Changeup at 79. Barrera swings right over it. 0-1 the count.
You had a feeling in yesterday's game when Trace Barrera came to the plate that Evan Hill had worked so far into the game. Was at 86 pitches when Barrera hit that 2-run shot in the win against Brewster.
0-1 from the stretch. Barrera chops it foul down the third base side. Scoots past the Kettleers dugout. Over towards the camera well here at Lowell Park. Counts 0-2.
You just wonder, though, Greg, if John Norwood and Trace Barrera were with this club from the beginning, how good this team would be offensively, as good as it already is.
Doesn't fix the fact, as the 0-2, Barrera hits it on the ground to Burleson. Burleson flips to second for one. On to first, double play. Run does score. Norwood trots in and scores. No RBI on the double play, but this game now tied at 2.
Hey, you can't blame for Barrera putting the ball in play. Let Chatham do the work defensively. They're the fourth worst team defensively in the Eastern Division, 7th worst overall. And that time they convert on the 5-4-3. Norwood does score, and now we're tied at 2.
Jordan Ebert steps to the plate. He grounded out to Tishman. Back in the second, first pitch, change up, tails away for ball 1. We're tied at 2. Kettleers, 2 runs on 5 hits. 2 of the 5 coming in this inning. Anglers have 1 hit. Ebert swings and chops it off his foot. Count to 1-1. Baldwin tagged Jordan Ebert, even though it was called a foul ball. Alertness on the swing. Count even up at 1. On deck, Jackson Glines. 2-2 the score here in the bottom of the third inning. Kettleers came into this ball game at 15-18-1. The Chatham Anglers come in at 14-18-1. Chatham's game against Hyannis rained out on Sunday. They'll be making that one up on Thursday. 1-1 Ebert, and he hits it off of his foot and falls straight to the ground. And Ebert gets back up, but he's limping. 1-2 the count. Baldwin goes out to have a chat with Max Tishman. I'm not sure if he actually fouled that one off of his foot, but he may have had pain from the last time that he fouled it off his foot in the previous pitch. What do you think?
I mean, right there, clearly it hit a nerve. It hit it twice, like you said. The first time not as hard as this past one. He seems okay. He's laughing it off now with Craig Moody, the trainer.
He steps back into the box. Looks to be all right. Nobody on. Infield back. 1-2 the count. Tishman stares in over the glove. Winds, kicks, delivers to the plate. Curveball in the dirt. Good forehand block by Robert Baldwin. Count even up at 2-2. Twos across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the third. 2-2 the score. Tishman, right leg high in the air. Ebert chops it to third. Burleson cuts to his left, flips across in time to get Jordan Ebert for the third out of the inning. But the Kettleers get 2 on an RBI single by Logan Taylor and a double play ground ball by Trace Barrera, but they send 5 to the plate, score 2. We're through 3 at Lowell Park, all knotted up at 2. You're locked into Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
2-2 tie as we head to the top of the 4th inning. Robert Baldwin, the catcher from Yale, steps in, right-handed hitter. Slightly crouched over the plate. James winds, kicks, delivers the first pitch. A fastball that misses low for ball 1. Baldwin, at the moment, is the only active Ivy Leaguer in the Cape League. There was another Ivy Leaguer that played for Hyannis, Joe Puritano. He has since left. 1-1. The count is now after a swing and a miss. Luke Leftwich and Vince Fiore are 50-50 guys today. They'll be coming up to the booth later on in the broadcast. James Wines kicks, delivers the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Way out in front of a changeup. James went off speed on that one. 77 on the gun. Count to 1-2. Quick work does Logan James. Fastball. Misses low and away. Count even up at 2-2. Join us tomorrow from Doran Park in Bourne. Kettleers warm-up hits the air at 5:40 for the Kettleers in the first place Bourne Braves. The 5th matchup of the year between the Kettleers and the Bravos. 2-2 on the way. Fastball misses low and in. Count goes to full at 3-2. Cotuit will be off on Thursday, one of only 4 teams that will have Thursday off. 3 games on Sunday were rained out. James shakes off a sign, holds the glove at the letters, shoulders 45 degrees to home plate. Payoff upcoming to Robert Baldwin. Fastball misses well low and away. Barrera has to reach to the forehand. Correction, the backhand to get it. A leadoff walk issued to Robert Baldwin. Despite how effective Logan James has been today in terms of limiting the damage, he's allowed only 1 hit. He's allowed 4 walks and a hit by pitch. 5 runners have reached base on balls not put in play. Justin Jones, the second baseman from UNLV, steps to the plate. First pitch swinging, pops it up. Foul ground. Drew Jackson, the third baseman, settles under it, makes the catch. 1 pitch, and Jones is retired. Brings up Bryant Burleson. Burleson from Texas Tech was teammates with former Brewster Whitecap. I'm sure Brendan Glasheen will enjoy this. Corey Taylor. Just found out the other day, a significant Texas Tech baseball alum, a recent baseball alum, former Oakland A's starter and current Baseball Tonight analyst Dallas Braden. First pitch swinging, hits it hard out into right center field. Wiseman, the right fielder, ranges to his right, settles under it, makes the catch. Baldwin retreats to first. So both outs in this inning recorded on first pitch swings from the Chatham Anglers. Anglers have drawn the most amount of walks in the league. That was the same last year. Kettleers have drawn the least amount of walks in the league this year and have issued the most. 9th place hitter Kevin Fagan steps to the plate. Plays for the Stetson Hatters. It's a great name, the Hatters. First pitch, changeup, hits the low inside paint for a strike. 0-1 the count on Fagan, who struck out looking to end the second. James in the stretch holds the ball behind his back. Couple step lead at first for Robert Baldwin. Fisher holds him on. 1-0, slice foul out of play to the left side. Count even up at 1-1. His teammate in Chatham and back at school, Patrick Mazika, was supposed to be the main guy behind the plate, but Mazika, get this, friends, while he hits over 290 on the road, Mazika is hitting .088 at Veterans Field. 3 for 34. James sets at the neck, delivers the 0-2, fastball, ring him up, strike 3 call. Logan James has struck out at least one batter in every inning. He's got 6 Ks on the ball game. We're through 3.5 at Lowell Park, tied at 2. You're locked into Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Bottom of the 4th inning, Jackson Glines, Jake Fincher, and Jamison Fisher step to the plate against Max Tishman. 2 apiece here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Anglers got their 2 on a 2-run blast by Chris Shaw. In the top of the 1st, Kettleers got their 2 back in the last half, the bottom of the 3rd. Jackson Glines, the left fielder from Michigan, steps to the plate. He's 1 for 1, singled in advance to second, back in the 2nd. Lefty-lefty matchup. Tishman stands in the windup, kicks, delivers the first pitch on the way to Glines. Number to the shortstop, Gonzalez, picks it up, flips across in time to get Jackson Glines 1 out for Jake Fincher. Jake Fincher will step to the plate. Fincher flew out to right in his first at-bat. Jake Fincher, the center fielder from North Carolina State, the only position player selected for the Kettleers on the All-Star team. Kettleers have 2 All-Stars, Fincher and Adam Witt. Righty-lefty matchup. Tishman stares in over the glove. Wines kicks, delivers the first pitch on the way. Fincher chops it to short. Gonzalez picks it on the backhand, fires across in time to get the speedy Jake Fincher. 2 pitches, 2 outs. The epitome of efficiency. Brings up Jamison Fisher. Fisher 1 for 1. Looped a single out into left field. In his first at-bat, he was 3 for 4 yesterday. Fisher will get to see his college teammate tomorrow night at Doran Park in Bourne. Mason Klotz started the season with the Kettleers, was released, but is signed on with the Bravos. Burleson, even with the bag at third. Rest of the infield is back. Tishman stares in over the glove. First pitch on the way to Jamison Fisher. Swung on, nubbed out into left field, a base hit. Cut off in the left field gap by Kevin Fagan. Jamison Fisher 2 for 2, a wide turn at first. So Jamison Fisher now 5 for his last 6. We're also told by our photographer Joe Cavanaugh that Jamison Fisher's parents have made the trip up to Lowell Park and are here from Zachary, Louisiana. Earlier in the season, I jumped Jamison Fisher's truck. Fortunately, he does have a new battery. Here's Drew Jackson, third baseman. Jackson grounded into a fielder's choice, back in the 2nd. Tishman in the stretch, first pitch on the way to Jackson. Fastball hits the outer paint for a strike. Baldwin looked like he wanted to fire down to first, but tosses softly back to Tishman, 0-1. Order will turn over. Rhett Wiseman stands on deck. Jackson, slightly open stance, crouched over the plate. A.J. Murray holds on Fisher at first. Fisher dancing around. 0-1. Jackson chops it to third. Burleson plays it to the forehand. Fires across in time to get Drew Jackson a 2-out hit, but nothing doing. We're through 4 at Lowell Park. Kettleers and Anglers tied at 2. You're locked into Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial.
Top of the 5th inning at Lowell Park, a 2-2 tie between the Kettleers and Chatham Anglers. Logan James back on the hill for inning number 5. A first pitch changeup at 87. Low and at the ankles to the leadoff man, Landon Cray. Top of the order up for Chatham. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Anglers. 2 hits, 1 run. As the shot over towards second base on the ground to Ebert. Ranges, throws to first to throw out Cray for the first out of the 5th. Logan James has been solid. 4 1/3 recorded now. He's allowed just 1 hit. That was Chris Shaw's 2-run homer back in the first inning. He's walked 4 and struck out 6, which matches the season high that he got back on June 28th against the Harwich Mariners here at Lowell Park. His last 3 outings have come on the road prior to today's start. Mitch Gonzalez takes a change up low and away. Another left-handed hitter for Chatham. 6 lefties in the order today. 3 from the right-hand side. 4 total for John Schiffner. James holds at the belt, 1 finger sticking out of the glove. The 1-0 pitch. Gonzalez sends a shot to right center. Fincher a hard run. It bloops in for a base hit. Out in front of his shoe tops in shallow center field. Gonzalez, the shortstop from Gonzaga's at first with a 1-out single. It brings up A.J. Murray. Murray was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. Popped to right field back in the first. Murray's been hit 4 times against the Kettleers. Was hit 3 times in their last game against the Kettleers on July 2nd here at Lowell Park. As James sets at the belt, Jackson in on the grass at third. First pitch fastball dips away at 87. 1 ball, no strikes. Murray not selected to the home run derby. Will start at first base in the All-Star game. His teammate Chris Shaw will take over the home run derby duties. He's on deck for Chatham as James checks at first base on Gonzalez. A beautiful day at Lowell Park. The sun shining over the trees to the left of our broadcast station. The Slotnick family grandstands filled with Kettleer fans. 1-0 is not thrown as James checks at first. Infield's in double play depth, outfield straight away. Rhett Wiseman noticeably to the far left of the right field line. James sets at the letters, checks again for the 3rd straight time. Fisher's out in front of the first base bag just by the lip of the grass. Murray takes a big practice swing, climbs back in the box, taps the end of home plate. Now the inside of home plate, lets the bat wave out in front. James sets. The 1-0 offering. Fastball, attempted frame from Barrera. It misses outside, 2-0. Logan James has just passed the 70 pitch mark. Could be his last inning of work today. There is right-handed action in the bullpen for the Kettleers. It's Jason McClellan. 2-0. Change up, bell tie, but outside. 3 balls, no strikes. Jackson McClellan, right-handed pitcher from Pepperdine, warming up for Cotuit. Jackson remains in on the grass. Runner at first, 1 out. 2-2 tie. Fastball called a strike on the outside corner by home plate umpire Tim Carey. Put me over pitch by Logan James. It's 3-1 to A.J. Murray. Cotuit and Chatham. Cotuit third in the West. Chatham fourth in the East. The 3-1. Outside and away, ball 4. Gonzalez advances to second. Murray's down to first. He's reached base safely 2 times today without a hit. Chatham has 2 hits and 2 runs. Cotuit 6 hits, 2 runs. Chris Shaw with 1 big hit. And now that is going to do it for Logan James. Chris Shaw heads back to the dugout. In the pitching change, on for Cotuit. The big right-hander from Pepperdine. Jackson McClellan into pitch for the Kettleers. Right here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Stick with us, a 2-2 tie between these 2 clubs. Chris Shaw at the plate for the Chatham Anglers as Chatham has first and second with 1 out. The go-ahead run at second base. The new Kettleer pitcher in for Logan James, Travis Duke. Big lefty stands at 6'8" from Texas. Pitching to his catcher from the same university, Trace Barrera. They've matched up several times this season. A lefty-lefty matchup. As Gonzalez leads from second, Murray at first. First pitch to Shaw. A changeup at 84, crosses the heart of home plate for a strike. 0-1 to Shaw. Shaw, a 2-run blast back in the first inning to get Chatham on the board first. Was intentionally walked back in the third. As Duke stares in, the glove leans on his right thigh. Comes set by his head. 0-1 pitch. Shaw stares at a fastball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Infield remains in double play depth in terms of Taylor and Ebert up the middle. Fisher far back at first. Jackson still in, the 1-1. Shaw sends another bomb to right. Wiseman doesn't even bother running. It's gone. 2 home runs for Chris Shaw today. This one's a 3-run shot to give Chatham a 5-2 lead. Home run number 6 that leads the Cape Cod Baseball League. Wow. Rhett Wiseman in right field simply ran to his right about 3 steps, turned to his right over his shoulder, and simply gazed at that towering shot into right field. Gonzalez scores, Murray scores, and Shaw trots in to give Chatham a 3-run advantage, 5-2. Not a warm welcoming to Travis Duke. First pitch bunt down the left field line, it rolls foul by Jake Fraley, the right fielder from LSU. Chris Shaw also has 12 extra base hits. That leads the Cape Cod Baseball League by 3. So Travis Duke is charged with just 1 run. Charged the run scored by Murray and Gonzalez to Logan James. Change up, low and inside, called a strike. That's the second multi-home run game by a Cape Cod player this year. The other is Wade Wass, a former Brewster Whitecap that hit 2 grand slams in his final game with Brewster before signing with the California Angels. This one's chopped over towards second. Ebert picks it up on the run, sets his feet, throws to first to get Fraley. Second out at the inning. Ebert's been busy over at second base, has had 3 putouts in the last 2 innings. Robert Baldwin, the catcher from Yale, steps in from the right side, facing the left-hander Duke, who gives up a 3-run shot to Chris Shaw. Coming in for relief for Logan James. First pitch swinging, a high fastball by Baldwin. He's cut on and missed. No ball, 1 strike. Entering today's game, Baldwin has played in just 3 games, was 5 for his last 12. The catcher giving Collins the day off. The 0-1 tails away. 1 ball, 1 strike. That catcher being Nick Collins, left-handed hitter from Georgetown. 1-1. Called a strike, a changeup inside corner at 85. 1 ball, 2 strikes. As Duke quickly gets his back foot on the rubber. Right foot in front of the left. Comes set by his chin. 1-2. Fastball swung on and missed. Baldwin down on strikes, but the damage done. Chris Shaw has homered twice today. This time a 3-run bomb to right center. Chatham leads Katuitt 5-2 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable-Mashpee, Channel 99, and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a
Top of the order for the Kettleers as they look to fight back from a 5-2 deficit against the Chatham Anglers. Rhett Wiseman, John Norwood, and Logan Taylor, the expected hitters, against Max Tishman, left-handed pitcher from Wake Forest. First pitch, Wiseman, a bomb down the right field line. Back goes Fraley, the right fielder. It tails way foul to the right of the Angler bullpen pitchers. 0-1 to Wiseman. Lined out hard to right field to start the game. was hit by a pitch but came around to score Katuitt's first run back in the third. No balls, one strike as Tishman sets at the mound. Into the windup, the 0-1. Another grounder, this time down the right field line. It goes foul. Wiseman behind, 0-2. Chris Shaw, what a year for him. 6 home runs. He's the DH tonight, so not playing defensively. But, geesh, 2 bombs today off Kettleer pitching. One off Logan James, the other Travis Duke on the first batter he faced, 0-2. Wiseman chops it off his back foot into some pain. Almost did a split with his legs down the right field line. He walks it off now behind home plate. And now the catcher, Robert Baldwin, out to talk with Tishman to give Wiseman a breather. Tim Carey also gives Tishman a new baseball. As Wiseman resets, unlocks his batting gloves, retucks in his shirt just to get a fresh start up at the plate. He's behind 0-2 with nobody out to begin the bottom of the 5th. Kettleers trail 5-2. Wiseman injured his left hand at YD this past Friday. So this time it's the foot, but he's okay. He stands back in the box, lets the bat roll on his fingertips as Tishman winds the 0-2. Wiseman sends a bomb to right center. Fraley's going back, so is in Gray. It's back, it's caught! And no, it's out of the ballpark! Fraley ran up his glove, and Wiseman sends it out for his first home run of the season. Kettleers within 1, 5-3. Rhett Wiseman hits his first bomb of the season. Never mind the Cape League, but also his entire college season. Hit 4 with Katuitt last year. Fraley crossed out in front where the ball landed, and I couldn't see where it was placed, so I figured he caught it, but it gets behind. The fans out and right retrieve the foul ball, or the home run ball, and now it's a 2-run game, 5-3. John Norwood, the hitter for Katuitt. First pitch swinging. He sends a bomb to left center. Fagan goes back. It's by the scoreboard. Get out of town! Back-to-back jacks for the Kettleers. Wiseman and Norwood. It's a 1-run game, 5-4. The Vanderbilt combo strikes against Tishman. Look at that. 1-run game just like that. That's a cool moment right there as Tishman allows the 2 bombs. Norwood and Wiseman hug it out just by the third base line. Back-to-back home runs for the first time this year by the Kettleers. So just after noticing how good Chris Shaw's been today, how about Wiseman and Norwood going back-to-back in response? 3 hits for Chatham on 5 runs. 2 of them by Chris Shaw, both home runs. A 2-run shot and a 3-run shot. As now there's a meeting of minds at the mound between Chatham's pitching coach and the Chatham infield. Jake McCarter, the pitching coach for Chatham, meeting with Max Tishman, now home plate umpire. Tim Carey also out there to break up the discussion. So Tishman enters this 5th inning with a 3-run cushion, allows 2 solo shots by Wiseman and Norwood back-to-back, and Katuitt's within 1, 5-4. Wouldn't this be something if Logan Taylor could find the fences? Right-handed hitter from Texas A&M, a slight open stance. He's ready for more fun in this half inning. First pitch on the way from Tishman. Taylor takes a changeup low and in. Both pitches were left up in the zone. So when you consider that, I mean, 2 Kettleer hitters that are from the national champion Vanderbilt Commodores took advantage completely. Taylor takes a fastball. It sweeps inside by his back foot. 2-0. Logan 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. Stole second base back in the first. The most games played by any player in the Cape League. 2-0 on the way. Taylor sends it the opposite way down the right field line. Towards the right field line now. It drops foul. About 5 steps from the 320 marker. Down the right field line. Jake Fraley unable to make a play on it. So the Kettleers are seeing the ball well against Max Tishman. The line for him now, 4 innings pitched, 8 hits allowed, 4 runs. He has walked nobody and struck out 1. We mentioned before the game today, Greg Moraz and myself discussing, this guy will get hit around and won't strike out many guys, but the Kettleers are putting the bats to the ball now. 2-1. Taylor ropes it, but it goes off of his left leg. Tons of foul balls off Kettleer hitters today. We saw Jordan Ebert get disturbed. Rhett Wiseman, the pitch prior to the home run he hit, went off his back leg, and now Taylor hits it off his inside pivot foot. Count still 2-2 on Logan. His right foot outside of the batter's box as he climbs back in, taps his helmet. The Kettleer fans start a slow clap. A 5-4 game here at Lowell Park. 2-2 pitch on the way to Taylor. Half-hearted swing. Did he go around and wait a sec? Home plate umpire Tim Carey put the safe sign on. Then he said he was out. So Taylor strikes out. Was clearly uncomfortable after hitting the foul ball off his foot. So he's down on strikes. Finally, the first out retired of this half inning for Max Tishman. Starter from Wake allows back-to-back jacks to begin this 5th. Rhett Wiseman a homer, John Norwood a homer. And the Kettleers are within 1 run. Another home run guy, Trace Barrera, takes a curveball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Wiseman is first of the season. Norwood his 3rd. 1-0 pitch. Barrera takes it low and inside. And it was only a matter of time that Rhett Wiseman would get something to go his way. His previous 5 outs, dating back to yesterday's game, were all hard-hit balls. Finished the game 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly in yesterday's game against Brewster. 2-0 to Barrera. Lines it down the left field line on the ground. Foul. 2 balls, 1 strikes. But he also started today's game with a high shot to right field that was caught by Jake Fraley. Was hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd. And then he homered in the 5th inning. Kettleers within 1, 5-4 in the final matchup against the Chatham Anglers this season. Tishman's 2-1. Barrera shoots it almost to the same spot down the left field line, foul. Evens the count at 2-2. Jordan Ebert on deck, second baseman from Auburn. Kettleers and Anglers, 2 of the Cape League's most prestigious teams. Chatham fighting to keep that 4th playoff spot in the East. Cotuit trying to advance in the standings. Out west, sitting 3rd right now in the Western Division, with just 10 games left counting today. Tishman resets as he steps off the rubber. He's back on the rubber now. 2-2 to Barrera. Trace takes a changeup low and inside. Originally named Felipe, but he's the 3rd Felipe in the family, so he goes by Trace. In search of the Trace home run of the inning. Kettleers have already had 2. 1 from Wiseman, 1 from Norwood to begin the 5th. 3-2 to Barrera. Changeup low and outside, ball 4. He heads down to first base with a 1-out walk. And now Ebert over down the 3rd base line to discuss the game plan with Mike Roberts. Roberts asked for time from 3rd base umpire Rick Emerson. So the Kettleers trailed this ball game 5-2 entering this half inning. Wiseman a home run on a count that was 0-2, oh by the way. In the previous pitch, fouled it off his back leg, was in significant pain. 24, the home run total for the Kettleers this season. First pitch to Ebert, a big swing and a miss. Changeup that dropped in the dirt just by home plate. I'm not sure that was what Mike Roberts told Jordan Ebert to do. He's behind 0-1 with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Chatham at Cotuit for the final time. Infield remains in double play depth. The first baseman, A.J. Murray, holds on Barrera, 0-1. Now Ebert hits it off his leg, again foul. That was his right foot this time, not his left foot. The previous at bat, Craig Moody, the trainer for the Kettleers, was out looking at the left foot. And what's interesting as well is that you see hitters these days wearing all the protection on their shins. And normally, they put the protection on their stride foot. And today, we've seen them hit the ball off their back foot. Maybe they got to start going with double shin guards like they do in soccer. Count 0-2. Tishman's to the set at the letters. The pitch. Shot over towards short. Picked up by Gonzalez. Flips to second for one. Jones throw to first. In time. The double play recorded to end the side. Kettleers get back-to-back jacks from Wiseman and Norwood to make this a one-run game. We'll go to the sixth at Lowell Park. 5-4 Chatham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Top of the sixth inning, Kettleers lead this one 5, or top of the sixth inning, Anglers lead this one 5-4. Justin Jones, Bryant Burleson, and Kevin Fagan step to the plate. Now joined on my left by Vince Fiore, yesterday's starter. Vince, you went 7 innings of scoreless ball, and we were told in today's pregame interview with assistant coach Brian Scott that when you're getting the ball down, that's when you're at your best. You had your last start skipped, but yesterday, what was different, and how do you think you were so effective?
Keeping the ball down definitely helped me out, and changing speeds, using my changeup was definitely on, and that always helps if you keep the ball down. I think for any pitcher, I'll tell you that.
Is there anything that you adjusted mechanically as Justin Jones, the second baseman, steps to the plate? 0 for 2, a strikeout looking and a pop-out in the second and fourth, respectively. Travis Duke out for his first full inning of work. First pitch on the way to the left-handed hitting Jones. A curveball, a looper at 69 on the outside corner, taken for a strike 0-1.
No, I don't think I changed anything too drastically. Just got back to basics.
Chopper off home plate. Count quickly to 0-2 on Jones. But Vince, when you go out and you're able to be that efficient, because your first inning, you weren't that efficient. You threw 20-plus pitches. You had several 3-ball counts. But what changed for you the next 6? Because while you weren't very efficient in the first, you were extremely efficient the last 6.
I think it was, getting my changeup over for a strike. And,
bring him up, strike 3 called. Jones goes down looking.
As, letting them hit it, let the defense play, and, we turned some double plays. I made some plays out there myself, which it's been a while for me to do that. So
yeah, I was going to say, you were flashing the leather yesterday. You caught a snow cone liner. You started an inning-ending double play. They always say a pitcher, as Bryant Burleson comes to the plate, Duke delivers, first pitch, tailing fastball to the outside corner, taking for a strike, 0-1. They always say that a pitcher always can help his own cause if he's not hitting by playing good defense. And how important do you feel like as a pitcher it is for you to field your position? Burleson slices it down the right field line, foul, 0-2.
Yeah, you got to field your position. That's part of the game. You're a player out there. You can be an athlete if you want. Some pitchers take it more seriously than others, but, we're all athletes out there, as coaches like to joke around about. But, it's definitely important to field those ground balls because no one else really can make that play.
Duke delivers the 0-2 high and away. Travis Duke in for his first full inning of work. Final question for you, Vince. There were some people in the stands yesterday sitting behind us on the first base side. Duke delivers the 1-2. Slice out of play. We'll do the 1-2 again. That were wearing some South Carolina gear. Was that your family?
That was not my family. My mom and grandma have came up once to Hyannis, but that was not them yesterday, Gamecock Nation proud and out supporting. So have to give a shout out to Gamecock Nation and give a shout out to my SEC boys that went back to back for Vandy.
Burleson hangs one out into center field, but on his horse, Fincher catches it. Well, Vince, we're going to let Luke come on now. We appreciate having you up in the booth.
All right, thank you.
So, 2 outs for Kevin Fagan, the left fielder from Stetson. And, well, Luke, the first thing I got to ask you is, you wanted to call an inning with Trey Wingent here.
I did.
But
I did.
You guys haven't been paired together. He goes tomorrow as Duke delivers on the way. First pitch breaking ball, catch to the outside for a strike, 0-1 the count. But the grand slam call, your thoughts?
That was wonderful. Everything I would have expected from him. We've been practicing a little bit, and the practice paid off because that was just beautiful. Just a great call from a great guy.
Fagan fouls out of play, 0-2 the count. Now, Travis Duke, he said that he should be interviewed about the home run derby you guys had the other day before the Orleans game. How would he be calling an inning?
You know, Travis would be an interesting inning because you never know what would come out of his mouth. He's a talker, he's a clown, and it would be interesting. It would definitely be fun to listen to, but don't know how great it would be.
0-2 pitch, grounded to Taylor at short. He picks it up on a weird hop, fires across. A 1-2-3 inning for Travis Duke. Yeah, the thing with Duke is, as we'll keep it here as we head to the bottom of the sixth, I feel like you couldn't censor him.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that come out of his mouth off the air that are obviously not appropriate to be on the air, so I figured we'd have to. We don't have a bleep button, which,
right.
You know, when somebody swears or says something inappropriate, you have to, bleep them out. But, do you think you could censor yourself pretty well if you got too excited?
Definitely. I'm not much of a swear word kind of person. I like to keep it a little clean. I like to keep it fun, but keep it clean. So I think, yes, I could do that.
Your Phoenix Suns,
yes.
They weren't able to sign Eric Bledsoe yet.
Yes.
But they have Goran Dragic, and they just signed Isaiah Thomas.
Right.
I mean, what are your thoughts on what Phoenix is doing now? Because, they gave him $12 million a year to offer to Bledsoe, and he turned it down. That's got to disappoint you, right?
It really does. The guys trying to big-time the Suns, and that's just not what they're about. Suns are, they don't have any superstars, really. They just play well as a team. They play well together, and they're greater than the sum of its parts. So hopefully he tones down the ego a little bit.
5-4 Anglers, Max Tishman out for his 6th inning of work. Jackson Glines steps to the plate. Glines 1 for 2 on the ball game. First pitch changeup. Hits the heart of the plate for a strike. 0-1 the count. But Luke, in all seriousness now when we go into talking about baseball, you had a good start against Falmouth, although you were pulled immediately after Logan Taylor caught a line drive and went for an unassisted double play. 0-1 on the way to Glines. Misses inside. Count even up at 1-1. But do you feel as if you were going to be able to work out of that jam? Because you were starting to work out of a jam right there, but did you want to keep, obviously you probably wanted to keep going.
Yes, I really did. I struggled for a couple batters, but I got my rhythm back, and after that big double play, the rhythm changed, the momentum swung back, and I was really feeling good. I was only at 44 pitches or something like that, and I definitely wanted to try and get out of the inning.
Glines hits it up to the middle of base hit. The leadoff man aboard. The tying run at first for Jake Fincher. And I thought you should have stayed out there, too. Your pitch count was efficient. So I'm on Team Leftwich in this argument here.
My man Vinny Fiore came in and shut the door, though. So he's good, too.
Yes, he is. He's a very solid guy. He's got a good-looking mustache.
Great-looking mustache. He looks like Luigi from Super Mario.
Here's Jake Fincher. Fincher shows bunt, fouls it back behind home plate. What would your mustache look like if you grew like a legit? You've got like you got 5 o'clock shadow going right now, but not.
I don't grow much facial hair, and I think it's because I'm part Asian. So you just rarely see Asians with great facial hair these days. So, I don't think it'd be very good, but I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna try and join the mustache crew in the bullpen.
Tishman sets in the stretch, right-handed hitting Fincher, throw to first, back safely, Jackson Glines. But do you think, though, that who is Bizarre's mustache the best right now? Is there anybody that comes close?
Bizarre is really creepy looking with his mustache. I'm going to give it that. It's very thick, very full, but I have to give credit to my man Adam Witt for starting the mustache trend. So I'm going to give him the best mustache because he's the one that started it all. He's the original.
0-2, and Fincher steps back in after chopping one foul. Jamison Fisher on deck. Fisher's actually got some good-looking facial hair going. He's got a mustache and a
He's
little
had that all
goatee.
summer, probably for the season too. He's got some great facial hair, and he's got a great swing.
What about Coach Scott? I think Coach Scott's got some great facial hair.
A nice little goatee, a little bit on the chin there. Yeah. Nothing on the head, but he's got it on the chin.
Could you imagine Coach Roberts with a mustache?
You know, I'd like to see Coach Roberts with a nice handlebar mustache.
So making like Raleigh Fingers-ish.
Yes, I think he could definitely pull that look off.
You know, there's something called Photoshop that you could probably.
Yeah, I think that needs to happen. I'm not great with the whole technology thing, but if there's anyone out there that is, I think that needs to happen.
Pick to first, back safely. Jackson Glines. Glines has got a straight-out beard going right now.
Yeah, he looks like Wolverine.
He is a Wolverine.
He is a Wolverine, and he does look like Wolverine.
So it's appropriate. It works well.
It really does.
Tishman sets, looks over to first, picks again. You know who actually had some great facial hair from last year is Vinny's old college teammate, Evan Beal. He had a good goatee going, and Evan was one of our funniest interviews up in the booth. You're slowly
Like
climbing up there.
there.
Oh yeah,
Getting up there a little bit.
For sure. It's too bad we haven't had Duke on though.
I
Man.
know.
Oh, I would love.
Duke could be a
Pitcher
fun
swinging
interview.
and miss. Throw down to second base. Not in time.
Almost took the pitcher's head off. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, Vinny almost had his head taken off a couple
Yeah.
times by some liners yesterday, but he was flashing the lever.
As he said, very athletic.
Absolutely. Well, Luke, as we've probably kept you up here longer than you want.
Oh, I would love to be up here. I love it. It's a great view, great atmosphere, great people, and with Vinny, a great mustache.
You heard it here first, but anything you'd like to say before we unfortunately have to say goodbye, Luke?
Yes, I'd like to give a shout-out to the 480, Phoenix, Arizona. And I'd like to also give a shout-out to my man who is severely missed, Gabe Berman.
We miss Gabe Berman, too. So, Big Cat 40, wherever
Big Cat 40.
Wherever you are.
Somewhere in Ohio right now, I think.
Fisher hits it on the ground through the hole, base hit. Fraley picks it up. Throw to the plate is cut off. Line scores. We're tied at 5. An RBI single by Jamison Fisher. He's 3 for 3.
The kid's so hot. So hot in the streets.
Hot in the streets and hot to plate. Luke Leftwich, everybody. So thank you to Luke and Vinny Fiore for coming up and spending some time with us. And John Schiffner has seen enough. Day's done for Max Tishman. New pitcher coming in. Tie ball game, 5 apiece. We'll be back right after this on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Max Tishman done after 5 1/3 innings. He gives up 5 runs on 10 hits. Game tied at 5. The new pitcher, the right-hander, from the University of Maine, number 35, Jeff Jelinas.
Jelinas 0-1 on the year. In 9 appearances, he's logged 18 in the third innings pitched. He's allowed 22 hits, 8 runs, just 4 of them earned, though. He's walked 5 and struck out 16. The ERA at 1.96.
So Jelinas on to be a stopper. Drew Jackson steps to the plate. Jamison Fisher on first, 3 for 3 today. 3 singles. The last one plating a run. Jackson Glines, who led off with a single. Here's the difference in the ballgame, folks. The Anglers have more runs than hits. The Kettleers have more hits than runs. Each team has 5. Jelinas, right-hander, in the stretch, first base side of the rubber, sets it to letters. Murray holds on. Fisher dives back as Jelinas throws over. Maine, home of the Black Bears, a consistent participant in the NCAA Frozen Four, the hockey version of the Final Four. Jelinas sets, picks to first. Fisher dives back. He's gone. Brian Bambanek already in an argument with Steve Konecki at first. I don't blame Coach Double B for arguing that call, but Brian Bambanek's not somebody who's going to get overly excited about a call like that. Fisher looked like he beat the swipe tag of A.J. Murray, but either way, there's now 2 outs, and Tishman's line is officially complete. 5 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk and 3 strikeouts. First pitch on the way to Drew Jackson is a fastball that tails to the low outside for a ball.
I would agree with Coach Bamanek, but like you said, an easygoing dude.
Curveball at the knees. Taking for a strike, count even at 1. Drew Jackson on the day has grounded out twice to third. Once, Burleson went and tagged the bag with runners on first and second and 2 outs. The other, a straight grounder, 5-3. Righty-righty matchup. Jelinas back in the lineup. 1-1 offering. Fastball taken at the knees for a strike. Down the heart of the plate, 1-2 on Drew. Jackson, whose college teammate Logan James started today for the Kettleers. Trey Wingenter goes for the Kettles tomorrow at Doran Park in Bourne against Jimmy Herget. Jackson hits it hard on the ground to short. Gonzalez picks it up, fires across in time to get Drew Jackson. Kettleers tied up on an RBI single by Jamison Fisher. He's now 3 for 3. We're through 6. All knotted at 5. You're locked into Kettleers baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
5-5 ties. We head to the top of the 7th inning. Landon Cray, the center fielder from Seattle U, steps to the plate. Cray is 0 for 3, a pair of ground outs and a strikeout. Duke out on the mound, lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch fastball hits the low outside corner for a strike. 0-1 on the center fielder from the Red Hawks. Seattle University, located in downtown Seattle, Washington. 0-1 offering from Duke. Fastball misses high and in. Count even up at 1-1. We had a great trivia question the last time that the Kettleers played the Chatham Anglers. What NBA Hall of Famer attended Seattle U? The answer to that was Elgin Baylor. Duke sets, delivers the 1-1. Fastball at the knees, taken for a strike. Same low outside corner spot, 1-2 the count. Drew Jackson, even with the bag at third. Rest of the Kettleers infield is back. Jake Fincher shifted slightly to the left. 1-2, fastball misses high and away. Count even up at 2 on Landon Cray. Cray, a mainstay in center field since Landon Lassiter went home with an injury. Duke delivers a 2-2, sliced foul out of play to the left side, over the grandstands, and into the trees. Duke stares in, gets the sign, lefty-lefty matchup. Taylor comes in a bit at short. Cray lunges at it, fouls it, back into the parking lot off of a car. Count remains 2-2. Shadows creeping in from the left side as the sun starts to set here on the Cape. 2-2, breaking ball, misses high and in. A looper that Trace Barrera tried to frame. 3-2 upcoming. Duke sets, stares in, payoff upcoming. Fastball misses low and away. A leadoff walk issued to Landon Cray. But Brendan, you look at this game, a 5-5 score as Mike Roberts comes out. But we're going to keep it here for just a moment because I do want to finish this point. You look at the difference in baseball games, and this is the difference right here. The Kettleers have issued 6 walks today and a hit by pitch. The Anglers have not walked, or granted, they've hit one guy, walked one guy, and allowed 10 hits. The Kettleers, despite having 7 more hits, they've issued 6 walks.
Their their hit column today, Chatham's, is doubled. And that number results in the number of walks and hit by pitches the Kettleers have had today. It's the story of the season, pretty much. But again, a game they find themselves in.
Anglers, both of their runs on home, all of their 5 runs on home runs by Chris Shaw. Kettleers have 2 home runs, both of them solo shots. The new pitcher, Jackson McClelland, will take a quick break and be back right after this. 5-5, man on first.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
New pitcher on, Jackson McClelland, the righty from Pepperdine. But before we give you his numbers, it's time for a Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update with our very own, the very good-looking Brendan Glasheen.
Well, thank you, Greg, for the nice compliment. It's top of the 7th at Stony Brook Field as well. The Orleans Firebirds and Brewster Whitecaps are even at 1 apiece. Top of the 5th at Red Wilson Field. The Harwich Mariners have a 9-run lead on the YD Red Sox, 10-1. And finally, top of the 4th, Wareham, Gateman, and Hyannis Harbor Hawks, a scoreless game in the top of the 4th inning. The other game going on today is Bourne and Falmouth. There's no update on Point Street. We'll have to check it out via Twitter momentarily.
Drew Jackson in on the grass at third. Mitch Gonsolis steps to the plate. First pitch on the run. Cray, it goes through the left side, a base hit. Cray stops at second. He now decides to dart to third. Fincher's throw is to third, not nearly in time. Runners at the corners with nobody out. Cray was going on the pitch, and several times this year, Kettleer defenders have been fooled as balls have gone where they've originally been positioned as a runner leaves first. That's exactly what happened as Logan Taylor ran towards the second base bag to cover. The ball hit right where he was originally. Runners at the corners. Anglers with their 4th hit. And here's A.J. Murray. Fisher holds on. Gonzalez at first. Gonzalez has had himself a pretty darn good day. 2 for 3, a pair of singles and 2 runs scored. He's also drawn a walk. A.J. Murray steps to the plate. 0 for 1, a fly out to right, a hit by pitch, and a walk and a run scored. McClellan in some trouble. In the stretch, first base side of the rubber. Big hole on the right side as Jordan Ebert in on the grass but shifted towards the second base bag. First pitch swinging. Murray pops it to the right side. Fisher in the sun, and he loses balance, falls down, doesn't matter. Ball sails over the fence out of play. 0-1 the count.
Get this, the score at Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth. It was 4-2 Commodores with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. The Braves have scored 7 runs and have taken a 9-4 lead on Falmouth.
A funny situation from the other day in a game that was rained out. And this is one of the oddest situations that has ever happened in the Cape League. 0-1 on the way to Murray. Murray hits it on the ground right to Logan Taylor. Taylor flips to second. He didn't know where to go at first. Murray reaches on a fielder's choice. Logan Taylor was looking home for Cray to go. That hesitation allowed A.J. Murray to beat out the throw at first. Gonzalez forced out at second. Runners remain at the corners for this guy, Chris Shaw. But Bourne scored 8 runs in the top of the first off of YD starter Michael Murray. And the game was then rained out. YD never got a chance to bat. And the game was wiped out.
And Michael Murray's ERA would have climbed even higher. He probably would have lost his 6th game this year. 5 right now with losses. That leads the Cape Cod League. And that play there by Logan Taylor, I think he almost forgot that Gonzalez was even at first base.
Shaw steps to the plate. First pitch swinging. Pops it out of play to the left side. Over the third base grandstands. 0-1. Chris Shaw, this is a very Barry Bonds-esque line. 2 for 2, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, and an intentional walk. That's why I said Barry Bonds-esque.
I wonder if you would ever risk walking him to load the bases and then get the force out at home. He's been so good today.
McClellan delivers a curve that sweeps to the outer half of the strike zone. 0-2 on Shaw. Jake Fraley, who stands on deck. Good speed, does not have a whole lot of power. No home runs this year for Fraley. McClellan sets first base side of the rubber. 0-2, Shaw slices it foul. Down the third base side, hits up against the fence where a lot of Kettleer fans have parked lawn chairs. 5-5 tie. Top of the 7th. A big spot here for Jackson McClellan. Landon Cray on third. A.J. Murray on first. 1 out. Chris Shaw at the plate. Already has done all of the damage. Runner going. Pitch and misses outside. Barrera fakes the throw to second. Expected Landon Cray to try and come home and pick him off at third. Mike Roberts is coming out to the mound. Nobody's loosening in the bullpen. But it's strategy session here as to how to position the infield.
Not only position the infield, but now do you put Shaw on first base? A base open. Now it's second and third. You could open a situation here where you can get that force at home. He's a dangerous hitter that's done really well today. Look at this for Shaw. Came into the game hitting 11 for his last 39, which is a .282 average. So he hasn't hit a home run in 40 at-bats. Well, it took him 3 at-bats today to hit 2. 6, which leads the Cape League. I mean, I don't know about you, Greg, but I think you might put him on here.
The one argument I have against that is you have a 1 and 2 count. The argument for that is this. Trace Barrera was expecting to try and have Landon Cray creeping off a third. That's why he never threw to second. The stolen base by Murray is huge because it eliminates the force and eliminates any chance of a double play ground ball. Now, Shaw can just lift it to the outfield. Barrera's standing up. They're putting him on. The line gets even more Barry Bonds-esque. 2 intentional walks. And the bases will be loaded for Jake Fraley.
I don't disagree with this at all. A tie game. This guy's elevated the ball in every at-bat. Don't give him a chance. to give this team the lead.
But here's the other thing that strikes me odd about this move. Mike Roberts, in every one of our interviews with him, he's never concerned. Oh, my God. Chris Shaw just fouled off. I wasn't even paying attention. He took one of McClellan's intentional walk pitches that was too close to the plate and just laced it. Now, wait a minute. Barrera's back on the crouch. Time called. Shaw steps out. What is going on?
First, they're going to try and not pitch to him. Then he swings at an non-intentional pitch. Now he's going to throw to him.
Time called. McClellan steps off. Now they're getting back out of the crouch again. Make up your mind. Shaw is standing in expecting to hit. Ball goes high, 3-2. I see what Shaw's doing. McClellan's intentional ball on the first one was close enough to the plate to hit. There was a legend that Babe Ruth once hit an intentional pitch out of the ballpark. 3-2, fastball goes high and away for ball 4. Maybe one of the weirdest intentional walks I've ever seen. I don't know. I mean, it's almost as if, like in football, the Kettleers called an audible. Either way, bases loaded, 1 out for Jake Fraley. Fraley 0 for 2, a fly out, a ground out, and a walk. Fraley, wide open stance. Infield in. First pitch fouled over the press box, out of play into the parking lot. Cray at third. Murray at second. Shaw at first. 5-5 to score here in the top of the 7th inning. Jackson McClellan down in relief. Kettleers have the infield in, which, in honesty, means that they're not going for the double play. They're going to force out the lead runner at home. Righty-lefty matchup. McClellan delivers to the plate. Fraley swing and a miss. The yellow hammer drops in on the outside. Curveball at 76. 0-2 on Fraley.
It's funny, offensively this year, the Chatham Anglers have only been intentionally walked once. That was by Kettleers against Chris Shaw at Veterans Field back on June 15th. They walked him twice today.
0-2 on the way to Fraley. Slices out of play to the left side. Into the parking lot again. Catch made by a fan. Get this, though, about Chris Shaw. Of his 4 home runs coming into today's ball game, he's had one against Kettleers. The last time that he came here to Lowell Park, a 2-run blast. McClellan the 0-2 again. Fraley slices out of play into the parking lot again, hits the back of a Jeep, then bounces off of Alan Sue Blanchette's truck, parked in the trees, and goes further down into the gravel part of the parking lot. Just heard on our effects mic somebody saying, this is getting expensive. Saw the other night in the game here against Orleans, a ball break a windshield.
This is a big pitch coming up from McClellan.
0-2 the count remains. Fraley stands in. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss! Cuts through a changeup high and away. Fraley K's 2 gone.
That was a great changeup because it was still off the plate, and McClellan challenged Fraley to go outside of his comfort zone and swing at the away pitch.
Nick Collins, the other catcher from Georgetown, is going to pinch hit here for Robert Baldwin. This is a matchups move. Collins a lefty, an all-star for Chatham. He'll be coming off the bench. Collins this season hitting at .329, 23 hits and 70 at-bats, 1 home run. He's driven in 70. He's driven in 10. Cray at third. Murray at second. Shaw at first. Bases loaded, 2 outs. McClellan first pitch swinging. Collins slices it foul past the Kettleers bullpen, where Reagan Bazar starting to stretch out. Sean Beckman stretching as well. Infield is back at all spots. McClellan in the stretch. Sets at the belt. Gets a sign from Barrera. 0-1 on the way. Fastball high and away. Count even up at 1. The one thing you can't do here if you're Jackson McClelland is go way out of the strike zone. You've got the bases loaded. You got to pitch to Nick Collins. 1-1 offering. Collins hits it up the middle. Ebert ranges to his right, picks it up, fires to first in time to get Nick Collins. The bases loaded, but on a strikeout and a ground out to second, they are immediately unloaded. Stretch time here at Lowell Park. 5-5 the score. You're locked into Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and Comcast Channel 99 from Mashpee to Chatham and Channel 13 in Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. The Kettleers and Cotuit.
Top of the order, due up for the Kettleers here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 5-5 to the score. Wiseman steps in. 1 for 2. A solo shot in the 5th. Got hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd. Flew out to right in the 1st. Jeff Gelinas stands in. The right-hander from Maine. First pitch on the way to Wiseman. Fastball that sweeps inside for a ball. 1-0 on Rhett. John Dice Norwood stands on deck. Wiseman and Norwood went back-to-back in the 5th. That's how the Kettleers tied this ball game. Fastball misses low and in. It's not really how they tied the ball game because they got a run on Jameson Fisher's RBI single in the 6th. So that's how they came close to tying the ball game.
Certainly
got them within a run.
Made the game interesting.
2-0 offering on the way to Wiseman. Laces it down the right field line. Hooking fair. It goes to the corner. Wiseman rounds first. Fraley digs it out. Fires into second. Not nearly in time. Brett Wiseman a leadoff double. Wiseman swinging a bat that's scorching hot.
And the scorecard does not indicate that based on yesterday's performance going 0 for 3, but hit the ball very hard, as we've mentioned multiple times against the Brewster Whitecaps yesterday. Everything's starting to come around for Rhett Wiseman. A shot down the right field line that just fell fair. Correct call by Steve Kineski, the first base umpire. And now they'll go-ahead run in scoring position with nobody out.
Burleson comes in at third. Even with the bag at first, A.J. Murray. Justin Jones and Mitch Gonzalez up towards the second base bag. Nick Collins is now in defensively at catcher. Norwood bunts. It's out in front of home plate, and it goes foul. 0-1 on Dice. Norwood doubled in the third and scored. Homered in the fifth. The back end of the back-to-back with him and Wiseman. So Collins in for Robert Baldwin behind the plate. Very odd to see Norwood bunting. Not something, in fact, that's the first time I think he showed bunt all season. Jelias in the stretch, shows bunt, pulls back. Count even up at 1-1.
Just to note real quickly, around the league, the Bourne Braves defeated Falmouth today at Arnie Allen Diamond. First win for Bourne at Falmouth since July 2012, and the Braves have officially clinched a playoff spot.
Norwood shows bunt, pulls back again. Fastball misses high. Our thanks to Al Blanchette for giving us popsicles.
Freeze Pops. These aren't the same. Come on, Greg.
They still look good.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
2-1 the count. Jelinas, third base side of the rubber. Sets, looks back at second. Delivers. Norwood shows bunt, pulls back. 3-1 the count. You see, I understand the small ball strategy here, but Norwood is too good of a hitter. He's got too much power to sacrifice an out. Try and have him push one to the right side. That will move Wiseman over, if anything else, and you have a chance for a base hit, maybe more. Jelias looks back at Wiseman at second. Norwood swinging away. Fastball misses high and in. Ball 4. Runners at first and second with nobody out for Logan Taylor. More action loosening in John Schiffner's bullpen. Jake McCarter, the pitching coach, coming out to the bump. He's looking back, him and Schiffner having a discussion. The entire infield gathers in. To recap this game for you, friends, Anglers got 2 in the top of the first on a 2-run blast by Chris Shaw. Kettleers got 2 back in the third on an RBI single by Logan Taylor. Trace Barrera grounded into a double play, but it ended up scoring John Norwood. That made it 2-2. Anglers got 3 of them right back in the top of the fifth on a 3-run homer by Chris Shaw. Then the Kettleers in the bottom half of that frame got back-to-back shots by Rhett Wiseman and John Norwood. That made it 5-4. And then an RBI single by Jamison Fisher in the bottom of the sixth, tied it up at 5. Every Anglers run has come off the bat of Chris Shaw. Logan Taylor stands in. 2 for 3. Pair of singles, an RBI, and a strikeout. The shortstop from Texas A&M. Wiseman at second. Norwood at first. Corners in. Gonzalez and Jones deep up the middle. Jelinas sets, looks back at second. Taylor shows bunt, pulls back, strike. Called on the low outside corner, 0-1. Landon Cray shifted slightly to the left, out in center field. Taylor waggles the bat. Slightly open stance. Jelinas sets at the letters, looks back at second. Foot on the first base side of the rubber. Delivers. Taylor shows bunt, and it's fouled back 0-2. And that's a big missed bunt opportunity because now Taylor's got to be swinging.
John Norwood was very good at the plate last at bat of being selective. This time Logan Taylor awfully aggressive to start this at bat, and now he's behind 0-2. I think you trust his stick, though. 2 hits today. He's hit the ball very well as of late. An 11-game hit streak.
Jelinas sets. Taylor shows bunt with 2 strikes, pulls back. Fastball misses low, 1-2. I understand the logic, but Logan Taylor has been one of your best hitters over the past week. You don't want to risk it with 2 strikes. Jelinas, foot in the stretch on the third base side of the rubber. Wiseman dances around at second. Gonzalez creeps over towards the bag. Time called. Taylor steps out of the box. Does he show bunt again? That's the question of the evening.
And Mike Roberts putting down the signs down the third base line. This might not be his decision here. This is a Mike Roberts to call right now.
Wiseman at second, Norwood at first. Corners in, middle shifted towards the bag at second. 1-2 offering on the way. Taylor pops it up. Collins can't find it. It sails over the press box and out of play. Nick Collins comes from Georgetown, the only Cape Leaguer from Georgetown, a member of the Hoyas. Their fight song, Hoya Hoya Saxa.
He no like Georgetown.
Says the Syracuse. 1-2. Bring him up. Strike three called. Drops the hammer on the inside corner on Logan Taylor. Taylor cannot believe it. He is still talking with home plate umpire Tim Carey. An unproductive out. Taylor gone looking. Brings up Trace Barrera. 7:10 local time here at Lowell Park. Game has to start moving along a little faster. We're in the bottom of the seventh, 5-5 the score. Or else darkness may start to play an issue should this game remain tied. Barrera's 0 for 2. Grounded into a double play that scored a run back in the third, but by the rules of baseball, not credited with an RBI since it came with no outs.
And Lowell Park had 2 games consecutively and on darkness earlier in the month.
Swing and a miss. Fastball goes up and in on Trace Barrera. Big hack, but no contact. 0-1 on the Kettleers catcher from Texas.
June 28th against Harwich and July 2nd against this Chatham squad.
Jeff Kinley has started to loosen for the Kettleers out in the bullpen. Jelinas sets, looks back at second at Wiseman. 0-1 to Barrera. Golfed to deep center field. Craig goes back on it. Back pedal, settles under it, makes the catch, and fires in. A huge miscalculation, though, by Rhett Wiseman. Off on the pitch, did not retreat to second. Normally, Rhett Wiseman's one of the smartest baseball players that you will see, but a big mental mistake. Not retreating to second as soon as he saw that that ball was clearly going to be caught by Landon Craig.
And Mike Roberts took both of his hands and put them against his face in disappointment because you would have moved Wiseman 90 feet away to get the go-ahead run. Now you have to depend on his speed if Ebert's able to find a hole.
Ebert's 0 for 3. First pitch fastball misses high for ball 1. Ebert grounded into an inning-ending double play back in the 5th after Barrera walked. Barrera did his job. He hit a deep fly ball, but the Kettleers get 2 men on and have not moved either of them from their respective positions. Infield back. Wiseman at second, Norwood at first. Breaking ball. Catches the outer paint for a strike, count even at 1 on Jordan Ebert.
In this situation for Jordan Ebert, you'd like to find the right center field hole because a ball into left field gives Fagan a chance in left field to maybe throw out Wiseman.
Jelinas looks back at Wiseman. 1-1 offering. Curveball almost hits Jordan Ebert. It curves way to the right in the last 6 feet. Caught in the low inside corner by Nick Collins, the catcher. 2-1 on Ebert. Ebert hit a grand slam against the Whitey Red Sox in his Kettleers debut last Sunday. 2-1. Ebert slices it out of play to the right side foul. Count even up at 2. 2's across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 5-5 the score here at Lowell Park. 4 home runs hit between these 2 ball clubs today. 2 solo shots from the Kettleers, from Wiseman and Norwood. A 2-run bomb and a 3-run blast by Chris Shaw in the 1st and 5th innings, respectively. Jelinas in the stretch, 2-2. Ebert ropes it foul over the right field foul line. Count remains at 2-2.
This is a good battle here by Jordan Ebert. He's been up in clutch situations as you adhere to. The grand slam in his debut, led the SEC in hitting, one of Auburn's best hitters. He's used to these scenarios.
Ready matchup. Jelinas delivers the 2-2. Ebert chops it slowly. Burleson charges at third. He has to hustle. Throw is high. Not nearly in time to get Ebert. Base is juiced for Jackson Glines. Wiseman moves to third. Dice up to second.
Not only was it high, but it brought A.J. Murray off the bag. He tried to swipe tag Ebert when his back crossed him by the grass along the first base line, unable to apply the tag on the bad throw. They're going to give Ebert a hit, and I would agree with that respectively, given it was so slow down that line.
Burleson really had no chance. Ebert's got great speed, and Burleson had to charge in 10 feet on the infield grass in order to make that play. Jackson Glines is 2 for 3, 2 singles and a run scored. First pitch fastball hits the inner paint at Glines' kneecaps for a strike, 0-1. Wiseman at third, Norwood at second, Ebert at first. Infield back at all spots. Outfield playing relatively deep but straight up. 0-1, changeup, high outside corner. Tim Carey calls it a strike. Kettleer fans don't agree. Glines has got to choke up here, 0-2. A big spot. It could be that both teams load the bases in the seventh and score nothing. Jelinas looks back at second. 0-2, fastball high and in. Good waist pitch, but not something Glines would ever swing at. Brazed by his ear. 1-2. Nowhere to put Jackson Glines. Jelinas, right foot on the third base side of the rubber. Sets at the letters. Looks back at Norwood at second. Delivers the 1-2. Change up high and away. Count even up at 2. Jake Fincher stands on deck. Should it get to him? The Kettleer fans beginning to clap. This could be the point that maybe vaults the Kettleers on a winning streak. 2-2 to Glines. Hit high and deep down the left field line, but way foul, out of play, just above the bullpen. Sails by the bullpen catcher. Jeff Kinley watches it as it grazes up top.
When you look at things in perspective, with Falmouth losing today, the Kettleers are trying to get on a run to catch them in the second spot of the Western Division.
Jelinas sets. Delivers a 2-2. Glines fouls it straight back. And if you heard that pop, that just hit our crowd mic. Today we hung our crowd mic outside the fence behind the backstop, and it hit it dead on. As our general manager Bruce Murphy and vice president Andy Bonner can look at us and say, hey, that's yours that hit. Count remains 2-2. Jelinas sets. Bases loaded. 5-5 the score. Pitch on the way. Changeup misses outside. And Brendan, I think we should turn the crowd mic off for a minute as we reset it. Fell out of the fence. 3-2. Wiseman at third. Norwood at second. Ebert at first. Payoff on the way. Glines hits it foul down the first base side. Scooped up by Hooper. Nice play by Brian Bambanek in the first base coach's box. No longer his playing days, but still's got able hands on the first base side. We'll do the payoff again. Jelinas sets in the stretch. Gets the sign from Collins. Stares in. Payoff on the way. Fastball low. Ball 4. Wiseman trots in and scores. For the first time today, the Kettleers have a lead. It's 6-5 Cotuit on an RBI walk by Jackson Glines.
Quite the effort by the players, coaching staff, and this fan base to get back in this ball game. Down 5-2, back in the fifth. You get 2 solo shots from the Vanderbilt duo to make it a 1-run game. Fisher's able to single in. Glines back in the sixth, and a hard-fought at bat. He was down 0-2 in the first 2 pitches.
Jake Fincher stands in. He's 0 for 3. How about the time to break out of the slump? First pitch fastball misses low and in for ball 1. Jake Fincher, who was Mr. Reliable for the entirety of the first half of the season, has hit a slump.
2 for his last 32 at the plate.
Trying to get out of it. Fincher waggles the bat. Stance slightly more closed than normal. 1-0. Fastball. Hits the inner paint for a strike. 1-1 the count. To recap the inning, Rhett Wiseman leads off with a double. Norwood walks. That puts runners at first and second. Logan Taylor strikes out looking. Trace Barrera flies out to center field. Ebert, an infield single, loads the bases, and Jackson Glines drives in Wiseman with a walk. Norwood at third. Ebert at second. Glines at first. 1-1 offering. Fastball misses away. 2-1 the count. John Schiffner's got an arm ready in the bullpen. Should Jelinas not retire Jake Fincher?
Schiffner just twiddling his thumbs at the top step of the dugout for Chatham. This game could get ugly if Fincher finds a hole.
Jelinas sets 2-1. Fincher hits it hard to center field. Cray has to charge. Now the second baseman Jones goes back on it. A great play to retire Fincher. But the Kettleers get a run on an RBI walk. Anticlimactic, but a run's a run. We've played 7. Kettleers lead 6-5. You're locked into Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Top of the 8th inning at Lowell Park, a 6-5 lead for the Cotuit Kettleers on an RBI walk by Jackson Glines in the bottom of the 7th. Trace Pereira warming up the new pitcher for Cotuit. It's Jeff Kinley of Michigan State.
Kinley coming in the 8th, a very rare occurrence. A 1-0 record, a 1.9 ERA. This is his 14th appearance. He has 2 saves. 19 innings pitched, 17 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 6 walks, and 12 strikeouts. So Kinley, possibly an opportunity for a 6-out save.
May see Adam win again, you never know. He closed last night's game with the final 2 innings against the Brewster Whitecaps, but considering how many left-handed hitters Chatham has, doesn't surprise me that Kinley's being called upon by Mike Roberts. 7, 8, and 9 come to the dish for Chatham. Jones, Burleson, and Fagan. Justin Jones, the second baseman from UNLV, steps in. Kinley, the lefty, into the windup. First pitch. Fastball, knee-high. On the outside corner for a strike, the count 0-1 to Jones. He's really struggled today. He's 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Kinley's into the windup, delivers the 0-1. Fastball misses outside. Evens the count at 1-1. The Kettleers have fought back into this ball game after trailing 5-2 back in the 5th. A curveball sweeps right to left over home plate for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Justin Jones. Kinley holds the glove just outside of the Cotuit lettering. Barrera sets up outside. 1-2 fastball, hammered to right center. A long run for Wiseman. He glides in into shallow right center, makes the catch. On the run, flips it over to Logan Taylor. They throw it around the horn here at Lowell Park. Considering Chris Shaw has provided all the offense for Chatham, a pair of home runs, a 2-run shot back in the 1st, a 3-run shot back in the 5th, you'd think Chatham would be way out in front. Instead, the Kettleers have fought back. They lead 6-5. A first pitch fastball in the outside corner. Misses outside, though, to Bryant Burleson. Third baseman from Texas Tech ahead in the count, 1-0. Kinley gets his sign from Barrera, the 1-0 pitch. Fastball sliced off the mask of Barrera. It rolls outside by the first base line, 1-1.
In games against the Kettleers that Max Tishman has started this season, Chatham has a combined 6 hits. In 2 starts, a 7-inning game at Chatham, the back end of the doubleheader, the Anglers had only 2 hits. Today, 4. 2 of them from Chris Shaw.
And that really adds to why Chatham entered today's game batting .195 against Cotuit pitching. 1-1, sliced, nubbed on the ground towards the first base line. Kinley flips to Fisher at first, a 1-3 putout. 2 straight outs recorded by Kinley. It brings up Kevin Fagan.
This team hits 20 points higher on the road than they do at home. A .250 average at Veterans Field coming into tonight. .276 on the road. So you'd expected that they would have been hitting a little bit better.
More runs than hits today. 5 for Chatham on 4 hits. 2 from Chris Shaw. A 2-run shot and a 3-run shot. That gave Chatham a 5-2 lead in the home half of the 5th. Cotuit got a pair of home runs from John Norwood and Rhett Wiseman. First pitch on the way to Ty Moore, the pinch hitter. Takes a fastball in the outside corner at 88 miles per hour, the count 0-1. Left-handed hitter, Ty Moore, an all-star for John Schiffner. We've seen 2 all-stars pinch hit today, 0-1. Way outside, it gets away from Kinley. It rolls to the backstop, a wild pitch, 1-1.
That was a way wild pitch. I mean, Barrera didn't even have a chance to glove that.
Ty Moore of UCLA hitting .286. Has 2 home runs. He's driven in 19. Kinley has the right foot in front of the left on the rubber, the 1-1. Another pitch gets away far and wide from Trace Barrera. Back-to-back wild pitches, it's 2-1. Thankfully, no one on base. An interesting shift by the Kettleers. Jordan Ebert on the grass by second base. Jamison Fisher backed up pretty much. The 2-1. Slice to the left side. It falls in the hole in center field. The base hit. Rolls into the glove of Jake Fincher, and Ty Moore at first base with a 2-out pinch hit single.
One more out. Let's go.
Landon Cray, the leadoff man, steps in. Batting from the left side. Cray today 0 for 3. Struck out swinging in the first. Ground outs to Jordan Ebert over at second base in the 3rd and 5th innings. Walked and reached 3rd in the 7th. Both teams had the bases loaded in the 7th inning, but couldn't convert with runs, except for the Kettleers on the walk. Rounded towards second. Ebert goes the short way to first to get the sure out to retire the side. Jeff Kinley allows a base hit, but shuts down the Chatham order here in the top of the 8th. We'll go to the last of the 8th at Lowell Park. 6-5 Kettleers on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
A solid 8th inning from Jeff Kinley, and the Kettleers head to the bottom of the 8th with a 1-run lead, looking to add more and pad this 1-run lead. Fisher, Jackson, and Wiseman, 8, 9, and 1 expected to bat against Chatham's left-handed hurler from California State Northridge, Jerry Keel.
Keel making only his second appearance, two and a third innings pitch, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned, no walks and a strikeout.
As they like to call it, fresh meat. First pitch fastball in the outside corner to the left-handed hitting Jamison Fisher, a lefty-lefty matchup. John Schiffner with a loaded roster full of left-handers, offensively and defensively. The pitch. Changeup this time hits the outside half. Fisher's behind 0-2. Jamison Fisher has had quite the last couple of days. Is 6 for his last 9. 3 hits yesterday, 3 hits today, all singles. Pitch. Changeup low and away. The catcher, Robert Baldwin, thought it was strike 3. He was about to throw it around the horn. Keel's pitch. Fastball outside. 2-2.
Couple of defensive changes to note. Nick Collins came in the last half inning. Ty Moore, who pinch hit for Kevin Fagan, is now out in left field.
A slow wind up the pitch. Change up away. 3-2 to Jamison Fisher. A good at bat as he's worked it back. Normally a guy who's very aggressive early in the count has been able to keep the bat on his shoulder the last 3 pitches. Keel the lefty into the windup, cocks it over his head, the 3-2. Fisher nubs it, foul. Off of himself by the on-deck circle for Chatham. Full count pitch on the way again. Ty Moore and Nick Collins did not start today's game. Both all-stars for Chatham, along with A.J. Murray. 3-2 pitch on the way. Fisher chops it high in the dirt. Picked at third base. Nice play by Burleson. Throws across in time to get Jamison Fisher for the first time tonight.
That's a timing. Great. All right, what I said didn't really make
That's great
sense.
timing is what you meant
That's
there.
great timing by Burleson to be able to nab the glove on the ground right as the ball hits the area of the ground. Beautiful play at third.
Drew Jackson, the right-handed hitter from Stanford, awaits his first pitch. Fastball sliced off the mask of Collins. He seems just fine as he gets a new baseball for real on the pitcher's mound. Jackson today's 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts, all towards third base for the exception of 1, his last towards short. 0-1, tails away. A changeup, 1-1. Kettleers lead 6-5 at Lowell Park. They can take the season series 3-1 against the Chatham Anglers. Fastball up and in by the belt. 2 balls, 1 strike. We mentioned earlier that Falmouth was defeated by the Bourne Braves. Bourne has officially clinched a playoff spot. 2-1. Fastball tails in. 3 balls, 1 strike on Jackson. But the Kettleers still have a chance to catch that second seed in the Western Division if they get hot in these last 10. A 6-5 lead right now. 3-1 to Jackson. Swing and a miss. Way out in front. Fastball away. Gets Jackson off his heels. 3-2. And that was a game, Greg, in which Falmouth was winning 4-2 with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. They scored 7 runs, the Bravos. 3-2. Jackson lifts it high down the left field line. Moore is in on it. Camps under in shallow left by the left field line, makes the catch. Jackson's retired for the 2nd out of the 8th.
That's how good Bourne is. And guess what? That's where the Kettleers will be tomorrow. Doran Park, for their last trip of the year to Doran Park to face Bourne, and Adam Witt's loosing in the pen for the Kettles.
Last time we were at Doran Park, the Kettleers won 16-6. A blowout win over the Braves. They ran Ryan Kellogg right off the mound. Rhett Wiseman plants his back foot into the batter's box. He's had quite the day, people. A home run of the double. First pitch takes a changeup on the outside corner, 0-1. Wiseman went back-to-back with John Norwood in the bottom of the 5th to make this a 1-run game, 5-4. He doubled and scored the go-ahead run last inning. 0-1 pitch. Wiseman shoots it foul into the screen. He's behind 0-2. What's remarkable about that home run, in case people didn't see it, Wiseman hit a ball off his ankles And then the next pitch he took at yard. It was still 0-2 in that count. He's got 0-2 here. Pitch from Real. Swing and a miss. Wiseman swings through the elevated fastball by Jerry Keel. We'll go to the top of the ninth. The Vulture may get called on to soar in from the left field line. We'll go to the ninth. 6-5 Kettleers on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Chatham Bars Inn is the leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College. Located in Milton, Massachusetts, it offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is the leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Top of the ninth, 6-5 Kettleers. Jeff Kinley returns to the mound for his second inning of relief work. He faces 2, 3, and 4 of Chatham. Gonzalez, the first hitter, sends a shot to left. Glines, backs up a few steps, makes the catch just in front of the track on the first pitch from Kinley this half inning. 1 pitch, 1 out. And what makes for an interesting ninth, Greg, because you have Murray and Shaw coming up. 2 guys that lead the CCBL in home runs. And now there's Mike Roberts by the stone dust outside of the grass in front of the Kettleers dugout. He's getting Adam Witt ready, potentially for Chris Shaw. Swing and a miss. First pitch to Murray, even though Shaw's a left-handed hitter. Kinley's into the windup, 0-1 pitch. Inside, it does not hit him. It plunked off home plate. 1-1.
But here's the thing. With Murray a right-hander up, if you were going to bring in Witt, why wouldn't you have done it now?
1-1 pitch. Fastball tails away. What's interesting was Jackson McClellan was on the mound the last time Shaw hit. He's a right-handed pitcher. And God knows, maybe they put Shaw on with the base open. I don't think you do that in a one-run game. 2-1. Murray up the middle, caught on the line by Kinley. Spun to his right. The glove was leaning on his hip. It makes the catch just by his belt. 2 down. Well, there you go. Happy birthday, Kinley. A line out right back to the pitcher. And now, the guy who's caused all the damage offensively for Chatham could make the final out of this game. That would be a nice bow tied on the present.
But I still can't help but think of visions of Ben DeLuzio. Hyannis, second game of the year.
Look at the shift put on against Shaw. First pitch. A fastball on the outside corner, low and away to the big left-handed hitter from BC. Jordan Ebert, about 3 or 4 steps into the outfield grass, playing in normal second base depth, but backed up. Jamison Fisher on the edge of the grass by right field, the 0-1. Way away. Barrera out of the crouch. He slides right to left to retrieve the baseball. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Kettleers can pick up their second straight win against the Eastern Division and also improve to 3-1 against Chatham this year. Kinley's into the windup. Fires the 1-1. Fastball away, just off the edge of home plate. 2-1 to Shaw. Chris Shaw hit a 2-run shot back in the first, a 3-run shot back in the fifth. Chatham has 5 runs. Chris Shaw is responsible for all of them. 6-5 Cotuit, 2-1 pitch. Shaw doesn't offer at the breaking ball. It sweeps right to left. 3-1. He's in favor.
He's not going to get anything good to hit.
I don't think you take the risk. Outfield straight away. Ebert still well on the outfield grass in shallow right. Kinley's into the windup. 3-1. Curveball away, ball 4. Third time today, Chris Shaw has reached base via walk. The first 2 were intentional walks. When you get behind like that, you can't take that risk and give him a good pitch to hit in a one-run ball game, no question. Another left-handed hitter is Jake Fraley. Kinley comes to the set right by the letters as Shaw leads from first, the tying run. Fastball cuts across home plate, misses, says Tim Carey, the home plate umpire. He was down in a crouch himself behind Barrera and gave a long stare, opts to call it a ball. Ebert has moved back in. Fisher now covers the first base bag, the 1-0. This time he catches the corner. 1-1. The Cotuit fans give a clap in agreement. 1-1. Drew Jackson close to the third base bag. Outfield pretty much straight away. Infield up the middle, the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Kinley gets Fraley to go through it. Fraley looking fragile at the plate. He walks around the entire on-deck circle, gets himself reset. The fans in the Slotnick family grandstand start the slow clap. It works over to the fans by our left. 1-2 the count. Kettleers look to get the win. Here's the pitch. Fastball way upstairs. A waste pitch from Kinley. It's 2-2.
Should Chatham somehow tie this game, it's gotten dark very quickly, almost approaching 8 o'clock. I don't imagine they'll play past the bottom of the ninth.
Shaw, the tying run at first. 6-5 Kettleers. Fraley with a noticeable open stance on the left side. Kinley's 2-2. Fastball grounded to the right side through the hole, a base hit. Fisher went to the dive on the right. Over to Rhett Wiseman. He comes in to field it. Shaw's up to second. Fraley's at first. He's the winning run.
Now, here's something that I wonder. Shaw is the DH today. Cal Simmons, an infielder from Kennesaw State, is very fast. He's hit leadoff for John Schiffner. Why not pinch run him at second?
Yeah, John Schiffner has not made a change on the base path. He's going to trust Shaw over at second base. And now he could be coming in from right field. First pitch swing, hit to left field. Glines is coming in towards the left field line. He makes the catch. Ball game over. Kettleers win 6-5 after trailing 5-2 through the first 4.5 innings. They beat the Chatham Anglers by 1 run and take the season series 3-1, closing it out at Lowell Park.
I don't think you can say that this was a great game because of the fact that the Kettleers only allowed 6 hits, but 2 hits caused 5 runs to happen. Despite that, your bullpen comes in and does an absolutely tremendous job. Your bullpen comes in and gives up only 1 run. Technically, Travis Duke gives up the 1 run, which is the run from Chris Shaw on the home run. But other than that, Duke was good otherwise. So was Jackson McClellan getting out of a jam. And Jeff Kinley comes in, he shuts the door. And, I mean, this is not the recipe that you want, having your pitcher give up a lot of walks and not giving up runs on very many base runners. But at the end of the day, if it works, it works.
Cotuit improves to 16-18-1. Chatham drops to 14-19-1. Chatham still sits at 4th in the Eastern Division. Cotuit remains in 3rd place. Up next, it's the Kettleers Insider postgame show.
It's time for the Kettleers Insider postgame show on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. With a wrap on tonight's ball game, here's Brendan Glasheen and Greg Moraz.
Kettleers win their 5th one-run game of the season. They improved to 5-7 in those scenarios. Improved to 16-18-1 with a 6-5 victory over the Chatham Anglers. Greg Moraz to fetch Rhett Wiseman for a post-game interview here on the Kettleers Insider postgame show. Cotuit wins 6-5. A bunch of happy fans here at Lowell Park. But looking at the complexion of this game, The Kettleers trailed twice significantly and took their first lead of the ball game back in the 7th inning. The ball game started with the 2-run homer by Chris Shaw that plated Mitch Gonzalez as well as Shaw. Quickly 2-0 Chatham through the first couple of innings. Then Kettleers struck for 2 in the 3rd. Rhett Wiseman led off the inning, hit by a pitch. John Norwood doubled to get him to 3rd. Logan Taylor singled in a run. And then John Norwood scored on a double play, hit by Trace Barrera. Tied at 2, and we advanced to the 5th inning. Mitch Gonzalez led off the 5th with a single. A.J. Murray walked, and then Shaw hit a 3-run shot off Travis Duke right when he entered the game. Logan James was pulled after the walk. James today finished after 4 1/3 innings, allowed just 2 hits, 4 runs, 5 walks, and struck out 6. So the walks killed Logan James, allowed just 2 hits. One of them was the Shaw 2-run home run. And then after the home run, it became 5-2. Travis Duke shut the door throughout the rest of the inning, had a clean 6th inning, and then the Kettleers came up in the I got to back up a little bit. Last of the 5th inning, the Kettleers got back-to-back home runs by Vanderbilt Commodores, Rhett Wiseman and John Norwood. A solo shot for Wiseman, a solo shot for Norwood, tied the game, made it a 1-run game 5-4. And then Jamison Fisher hit a game-tying single to score Jackson Glines, and then Glines walked to score Wiseman. Rhett Wiseman to join us momentarily on the booth to talk about this big win for the Kettleers. They get this one 6-5. Rhett Wiseman today was awfully good for the Kettleers. Has hit the ball very well in his last 2 games. Hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd, homered in the 5th and scored, and also doubled in the 7th and came around to score. We're now joined by the right fielder from Vanderbilt, and Rhett. Man, oh man, the wait is over. You finally hit one over the fence, a home run, your first one of this entire spring, summer, whatever season it is, but must have been a good feeling. You've been swinging the bat well, but nothing was falling for you.
No, I know, and it was just a matter of time. All I'm thinking about up there is just squaring it up and having good, consistent at-bats. Been getting a lot of work in here with Coach Roberts and staff, and it's contagious. We had 12 hits tonight, and last night we really crushed the ball. It was a lot different from the 3-0 win that the scoreboard said. I mean, I think we've been swinging the bats great, and our bullpen really picked us up tonight. We had a strong start from Logan James. And, the bats were hot.
Now, you look at the way that you've been performing, with the exception of an 0-for-4 that you had the day before Fenway Cape Day, your last 2 weeks you've been hitting tremendously well. What have you been working on? Because you got off to a slow start. Not a long layoff for you coming from the College World Series, but you got off to a slow start when you got here. But ever since that last 2-week period, you've just clicked. What's clicked specifically?
I think it's just finding my niche up there and kind of figuring out who I am as a hitter and kind of maturing. I think, this game is so tough because you have games where you're 0 for 3, you're 0 for 4, but you square up the ball 3 or 4 times, and then you have games where you're 3 for 3 and you don't square up any balls. And I think both can mess with your confidence a little bit, but I think for me it's just mentally kind of finding a streak of consistency from a mental aspect.
How is this offense able to rally together? Because twice tonight you guys got behind. Shaw hits a 2-run shot to start the game. A fellow Massachusetts guy, a guy you've probably seen hundreds of times hit home runs like that. And then in the 5th inning, he hits another home run. You going into that 5th, leading off the bat. Then you hit a ball off your foot. And then the next pitch, you hit it out. So was there a lot of pain when you went up there for that pitch?
No. It's just one of those things where you kind of look at last season, and this is kind of the time where we really turned it on as a team. And I think the first, really month and a half of this Cape season, you can even give it, 2 months of the Cape season is kind of an opportunity for teams to gel. You have a lot of guys coming in, a lot of guys going out. And now that I think we have the core of our team and we really have the kind of the leadership established, I think this is the time to shine and this is the time to play.
As your microphone, a foul ball from Jackson Glines, I think may have actually partially broken this microphone. But we hung the crown mic out the window. But Rhett, final question for you before we let you go. This team has struggled in parts, but a 2-game winning streak over 2 Eastern Division teams, 2 teams that are below 500. But you've got tough tests coming up, 2 of the next 3 games against very tough teams. Bourne tomorrow, Orleans on Saturday. Is this the time of the year you feel like you guys are hitting your stride?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the baseball we've been playing, I think it comes down to us playing ourselves, and I don't think the opponent really matters. I think you can put any team in the country out there the past 2 games, and I think we walk away with wins. So the opponent really doesn't matter, and if we play our baseball and we play against ourselves, we can beat anybody.
Rhett Wiseman with a 2-for-4 effort, 3 runs scored, and helped the Kettleers get the 6-5 win tonight over Chatham. Thanks for joining us, Rhett.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, so Rhett Wiseman, the star Kettleer for tonight's game, gets a big win. And the Kettleers, as Greg just said, a 2-game winning streak against the Eastern Division. This is one of those wins where you just hope it finally starts to click. And, you know, Rhett just said it there. The guys are starting to feel it, but they need to actually get them. They need to get those wins. They're trying to get off to a consecutive winning streak. We need to mention this to everybody because this is the first day we've let the crowd mic flow outside of the chain link fence. And Jackson Glines, in that very long at bat to plate Rhett Wiseman to get the game-winning run. Jackson Glines hit our crowd mic right off the top of it. And now Greg is turning into Greg the Builder over here trying to fix it.
Well, I have some bad news for you. The impact of that foul ball was severe enough to the point where you heard the audio cutting out from some of the parts of Brett's answer. Obviously, most of the answer got in. The ball hit it so hard that the mic will no longer click in completely. So, hey, guess what? We're going to have to go out and get ourselves a new crowd mic.
R.I.P. crowd mic, thanks to Jackson Glines. But again, Kettleers win 6-5. Greg, we've pretty much done all the homework in terms of what this win means right now. But going forward, quickly, let's preview tomorrow's game against the Bourne Braves. They get a big win tonight because this season, the Kettleers and Falmouth Commodores are combined 6-3 against the Bourne Braves. However, they came back tonight being down 2 runs in the 8th inning, 4-2 with 2 outs, and scored 7. That's impressive.
Well, tomorrow, the Kettleers, both times that they've faced the Bourne Braves this season, they will now face, or 4 times, 2 times against Ryan Kellogg, 2 times against Jimmy Herget. Tomorrow, opportunity number 3 against Jimmy Herget. And this is a guy that he was great the last time he faced the Kettleers. The first time he faced him, before he went to Team USA, he was awful. He gave up 6 runs of the 8 that he gave up to that point before he left for Team USA. Herget was much better his second time out. But tomorrow's game is very important. In the last 2 games, you've proven. And I know that Rhett says the opponent doesn't matter. Chatham is not a great offense. Brewster is not a great pitching staff. Also not a great offense either. The 2 worst teams, in my opinion, the weaker division of the 2. Now, you face the best team in the league. The only team in the league to clinch a playoff spot. How do you respond throwing a guy out there in Trey Wingenter who has been your most consistent pitcher?
Definitely plenty of storylines going into tomorrow night's game. The Bourne Braves are just 1-3 against the Kettleers this season. We get them for the 5th time this year tomorrow at Doran Park. Kettleers warm-up starts at 5:40. First pitch at 6 p.m. from Doran Park. And finally, to close out the broadcast, Greg Moraz gives us one last Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update.
As you said earlier, Bourne beats Falmouth 9-4. So the Bravos will come in to Doran Park tomorrow. The Kettleers will come in a 6 o'clock start. 5:40 Kettleers warm-up, but that'll be a very interesting game tomorrow. Jimmy Herget versus Trey Wingenter. Bottom of the 9th at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. Orleans beating Brewster 3-2. Called in 8 innings due to darkness at Red Wilson Field. Harwich beats up on YD 12-1. The only other game still in action. Bottom of the 6th at McKeon Park. Wareham has a back-to-back against Hyannis. And if they had won both, they would have overtaken the Harbor Hawks for 4th place in the Western Division. Well, that's not going to happen unless a miracle happens. 7-0. Harbor Hawks lead, bottom of the 6th. That's your Coca-Cola of Cape Cod scoreboard update, the last one you'll receive until tomorrow at Doran Park.
miracles do happen because our crowd mic broke on the first day we put it outside the chain link fence. For my broadcast partner, Greg Miraz, I'm Brendan Glasheen, signing off at Lowell Park. The Kettleers win 6-5 and beat the Chatham Anglers. They take the season series 3-1. Hope to see you in Doran Park tomorrow. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to the Kettleers Insider Postgame Show on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Tonight's